Hello, beautiful souls. How are we doing today? It's good to see you guys. How are we doing? Happy Wednesday? Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, everybody. How are we doing? I've noticed that I've been feeling pretty lethargic over the last handful of days, and I couldn't pinpoint what it was. I thought maybe I was just being lazy or not feeling well or something, but well, and I'm not the only one, because many of you have been saying the same thing as well. Sleeping for longer and just struggling to kind of muster the energy to really get much of anything done during the day. And once I looked closely at it, I had forgotten that another planet has gone into retrograde. Uranus is now retrograde in Taurus, and on closer inspection, it turns out that it's basically making us feel a bit more lethargic and making us want to sleep more. So it's Uranus. It's Uranus that's in retrograde, more specifically, that's doing this to us. So as you can see, I'm looking a little bit tired. I've actually had like 9 hours sleep, but I've just been sleeping for like, I've been going to bed the same sort of time, but I've just been feeling really lethargic and been sleeping for longer. Been getting up like 2 hours later than I normally do, and then feeling really lethargic. And I know that can happen when you've been when you've had too much sleep. But honestly, I wake up feeling like I haven't had enough sleep. I'm waking up feeling like I've had like 5 hours sleep or something. But yeah, turns out it's Uranus retrograde. No, hello, lovely. How are you doing? Happy Wednesday. Yeah, and it's retrograde in Taurus as well, so it's making us, more specifically, it's making us feel like we just can't really be bothered to do anything in the physical reality, less so in the internal. In the internal, we're still being influenced by the other planets that are currently in retrograde. So we have 5 planets now that are in retrograde, all the way through until January of next year. I just woke up and realised you were on and was like, holy shit, yes. Amazing. Yes, it's 3:10. Yes, we have 5 planets in retrograde. We have Pluto, Saturn and Jupiter are all in retrograde until October. Then we have Neptune that's retrograde until December, and now Uranus retrograde until January. So these planets in their retrograde pathing is having a profound effect on all sorts of things. We're overhauling so many things. We're overhauling career, the people we hang out with, how we function, how we create, how we interact with other people. I think I said that already. Just everything. It's just a gigantic overhaul, basically. Neptune is making us very dreamy. I know many of you have said, and I'm suffering the same. So many dreams, like really, really vivid dreams. I had I could sit here just all day telling you about some of the crazy dreams that I've had. Hello, Void. Hello. How are you doing? Good to see you. Yeah, so that's Neptune. Neptune's retrograde in Pisces. So, and that's Neptune's home sign. Neptune sits in its home sign for 13 years. Well, it sits in each sign for 13 years on the trot. I think we have 3 years left to go of it being in Pisces. So during its retrograde path, we have very, very vivid dreams, and that ends in December, and then we can actually go back to having proper decent sleep again. And now we have Uranus in retrograde Taurus until January, as I said, so this is carrying us through. Now, as it goes, I think because there's so much overhauling going on in our lives, as a reader, I am only seeing up until January, February sort of time of next year. I'm not really seeing anything beyond that. I have a pretty good idea as to what's going to happen beyond that, but that's Alice looking at that, right? That's looking at the present and the past, and then looking at the course changes that have gone on, and then kind of predicting, I think, in my opinion, quite accurately predicting what's going to happen beyond that. But if I'm just going to go off the basis of energy, I can't see beyond January, February-ish time, like mid-February. So I'm not going to really talk about what goes on beyond that, because it's not necessarily accurate. You know, that's like my opinion rather than what I know. It's like predicting weather. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like predicting, it might not be the best example, but because what's happening right now, I suppose in a way it is like a hurricane. It's not destroying it. It's like a good hurricane. You know, it's overhauling things, but in a very, very positive way. So it's kind of like predicting the path of a hurricane. You can see where it's been, where it originated, where it's been, the path that it's been on up until this point, and then we can sort of predict where it's going to go from there. But that doesn't mean that it's 100% accurate. So it's kind of like that. Oh, is there? I did not know that. Whereabouts is it? That's a bit creepy. Hopefully it's not like a big one that just fucks everything in its path. But yeah, so, you know, I mean, this isn't new information to you guys if you've been following along with the reading. Oh, it's a big boy. Oh dear. Yeah, you know, if you've been here in the streams and you've been watching the readings and things over on YouTube, then you know that this stuff isn't new information. Excuse me, I still need to do, having said that, I still do need to do a reading on, excuse me, Uranus Retrograde. I still haven't done a video for that. It went into retrograde last week sometime, so I'm going to get on that this week and sort out a reading for you guys so you can see what's up. Oh, somewhere around Florida, right. Well, I hope everyone's okay. Obviously, I hope it doesn't trash anything, really. Would be good. So yeah, you know, now with this, in fact, you know what? I will read this little thing to you, because I read this the other day and found it very interesting. About the retrograde, the Uranus retrograde. Well, I didn't realise that Mercury, I've just read, this isn't what I was going to, is it too loud? Some tracks are really quiet and some are like hella loud. That is literally as low as I can make it, otherwise it'll be muted. So hopefully that's better. Also, my microphone there's something wrong with my microphone, so I've had to turn the gain all the way down to 0, which means you might not be able to hear me too brilliantly. I did test all the audio beforehand. It sounded fine to me. I don't know. Maybe it's because maybe it's your headphones. I don't know. Okay, so Mercury is, so we've currently got 5 planets in retrograde. We're going to have a 6th go into retrograde. We've got Mercury retrograde in Libra, September 27 through until October 18. So it's just under a month that it's in retrograde for. Mercury's the communicator, Libra is, the balancing romantic sign. So it'll be interesting to see what that's going to bring, but we'll concern ourselves with that nearer the time. So at the moment we've got Uranus retrograde in Taurus from August 20 to January 18. Okay, so I read this a couple of days ago and I found it very interesting that it's only really affecting certain people. I mean, it's affecting all of us across the board, right? Some of us are, like I've said, feeling pretty lethargic and sleeping a lot. But when it comes to the more life-altering stuff, it's only affecting certain people. And I find that pretty interesting because most planets, when they retrograde, they affect everyone across the board in the same way. This really is only affecting people who have points between 14 and 10 degrees in their birth chart, between 14 and 10 degrees in Taurus, Scorpio, Leo and Aquarius in your sun, moon or rising signs. It's like selective energy. Yeah, exactly. And that isn't me, right? Between 14 and 10 degrees of the fixed signs, so Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, Aquarius, in sun, moon and rising. And that's not me. So that's why, me personally, I'm only being affected in terms of feeling like I can't really be bothered to do anything in the physical. I mean, that's still a choice, right? I'm being influenced this way, but over the last week or so, I've been actively kind of geeing myself up to get stuff done. Like this morning, I didn't feel like doing a workout, but I told myself to fucking get on and do it, so I did. And the same with, my work and everything else, and I can't be bothered to clean the kitchen, but I'm like, needs doing, just fucking do it, So it is still, yes, we're being influenced by this energy, but that doesn't mean that we're victim to it, right, is my point. It's still a choice that you're making. You're being influenced by it, but you're choosing to succumb to it or to overcome it, right? So I'll just read this. There's a couple of paragraphs of text here, right, that I just found interesting, so I'll read it to you guys. The first few days of this retrograde can be very exciting with the alignment of Uranus to Mercury and Mars. That has passed now. Okay, so let's scratch that. Okay, so Uranus retrograde will most affect those of us with important planets or points between 14 and 10 degrees of the fixed signs, Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, Aquarius, especially if the sun, moon or rising signs are found there. However, all of us can feel the slowing of the rebel planet, and with Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune and Pluto also retrograding at the moment, it does make for a slow and even frustrating season for most of us over the next few months. Retrogrades are here to teach us a lesson. They don't happen by chance, and they speak of a time in life where it's important to process and integrate whatever the planet is all about. This integration is essential for us to move forward once the planet goes direct again. So in this case, January 2022. With Uranus in materially focused Taurus, there's been enormous and unprecedented changes in Taurus-related areas such as finances, physical security, relationships, food production and distribution, and our relationship to the earth in general. Now, interestingly, I've been trying to get a decaf soy latte from Costa Coffee, which is it's like Starbucks, but it's a UK company. It's exactly like Starbucks, from Costa. for about, I don't know, 3 weeks, a month. And I've been to 3 or 4 different coffee shops, and none of them have got decaf coffee. It's like you have one job, right, is to produce coffee drinks for people, and not one of them, and they're in like 3 different towns, and none of them have decaf coffee. Now, it's interesting that this seems to have been caused by Uranus in retrograde in Taurus. It's affecting, there's enormous and unprecedented changes in food production and distribution. Like, how precise is that? Weird and fascinating at the same time. With the pandemic, we've all been pushed one way or the other to make shifts in how we eat, how we shop, how we indulge, how we relate, and how we affect the planet we live on. We can no longer be unconscious to the effects our habits have on our own bodies as well as on the body of Mother Earth. This change-making planet has been reflecting all sorts of chaos in our physical lives lately, and with his disruptive squares to Saturn over the course of the year, we've had to shake up our physical foundations and restructure what we used to think was secure in one way or another. Kenny, you can't post links in here, my love. You're going to have to DM a mod if you want links, like, posted. Naturally, there's been anxiety and stress, as Taurus is not a sign comfortable with change. However, these changes have come... I'll start that sentence again. I can't read. However, with these changes has come immense freedom and liberation for a great many of us. Freedom from being negatively attached to a lifestyle we could no longer afford, for example, financially or otherwise. As Uranus retrogrades, it's time to take stock and see what else we may need to liberate ourselves from. Perhaps a toxic job, a bad relationship, or a home that's become stagnant. It's time to review our relationship to nourishment and food, to decide what really feeds us and make us feel healthy and whole. Whilst these 5 planets are retrograde, at least until October, when a few of them, as we've just discussed, 3 of them go direct again, we need to get comfortable with uncertainty and abrupt change. There is so much changing, you guys, and I know I've been talking about this for months, right? That this year is all about laying in a foundation. It's not even putting in the foundation, it's thinking about what we want that foundation to be. And therefore, we need to, as this has just said, we need to become comfortable with lots of change, because if we want things to change, then things have to change, right? It's all well and good dreaming about this amazing life that you want for yourself, but if you're so rooted in what you currently have, and you're not willing to actually deal with the discomfort of change, because that's what it is. Change it's uncomfortable, isn't it? Because you're not used to it yet. And it's like I keep saying, it takes about 2 weeks for you for your body, you know, and your brain even, to physically adjust to changes. So we have to be comfortable with this. We have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, right? Things won't move very fast in the external world, but our internal world can blossom in this reflective state. There's a lot of prep work being laid down, yeah, for sure. Also, I had this dream last night where a male in their ship in Super Cruise must have been Destiny 2, because they had a ghost that teleported itself in another ship on a planet with a female instead. The female looks up and noticed the other ship fly by, and then looks at the ghost, then said, "Stay off the internet." Then the ghost went back to the other ship. I was hoping you guys could help me with this one a bit. So there was a dude on a ship, and they had a ghost, and it teleported itself to a different ship that was on a planet, and there was a female on that ship, and the female looks up and sees the other ship go, and then looks at the ghost and says, stay off the internet, and then the ghost went back to the other ship. Interesting. Oh, the ghost said stay off the... So it's like the ghost delivered a message. I'm just going to finish what I'm reading here, and then I'm going to come back to that. A few things we can practically do during Uranus retrograde is budget, relook at our spending, earning and saving habits, research places to set down roots. That's a little close to home. Find greater freedom in our relationships and develop new and exciting physical routines. In January, once we've made our plans and done the homework, we can get all systems going again and move forward with greater clarity. Isn't that exactly what we were just talking about? And what I've been talking about for the last few months. Hey Earth, you're watching Hey Arnold. Amazing. You football head. We need to keep in mind that Uranus is the great liberator, so no matter how much we may try and hold on to the old ways and habits, we need to relinquish control and be open to the changes that the universe wants to gift us with. So yeah, I just thought I would share that with you because I read that a couple of days ago, found it very interesting. Yeah, I watched Hey Arnold when I was a kid. Very relevant, yeah, for sure. North. So I don't know if you've been following the Twin Flame Tuesday readings, but and I'm not saying necessarily that this is what the dream means, but I find it very interesting that it draws like a direct parallel to excuse me, to the divine masculine, divine feminine journey that's happening right now. See this stretch right here? This is Uranus. This is Uranus retrograde. It's just making me all fucking lethargic. I've seen the last video you posted, I think. The dream reminded me of the feminine masculine stuff as well. Right, okay. So the masculine collective is leading the feminine collective. That started December 21st last year when the Great Conjunction happened. That's when the feminine and masculine collectives did a flip-flop. Just putting it out there, but for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, go on over to YouTube and look at the... there we go, there's the link for YouTube. And go and have a look at perhaps the last 2 or 3 Twin Flame Tuesday readings. We do them every Tuesday. Okay, I didn't do one yesterday. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't do it, but I will do one next week. I promise. We do them every Tuesday, and we dig into the divine masculine, divine feminine, the twin flame journey, if you will, and have a little nose around there and see what's going on. It's extremely interesting what is happening with this collective right now. I mean, it's all of us. It's the divine feminine and masculine energies within us. It's outside of us. And there is a lot of information to be gleaned from those readings. I know I'm biased because they're my readings, but there's seriously some really interesting information that comes out during those channels. So I'll try and recap as briefly as I can, but if you want some... thank you, Void. I really appreciate that. Thank you. I'll try and keep this short and sweet, but if you want to really dig into the nitty-gritty of this stuff, then go and check out those readings. If I dig into the nitty-gritty now, it will be here for fucking days. Yeah, I mean, do try... I mean, take what resonates. Absolutely take what resonates. But do try and pay attention to them both. Or at least just, hear what the other information is, even if it doesn't resonate. Because, you, everyone, me, everyone has divine masculine and divine feminine energy within us, and we flip-flop. Even within ourselves, we flip-flop between being in masculine or being in feminine. Like, when I'm working, I'm in my masculine because I'm very firm, straight to the point. That's where that tough love energy comes from. When I'm in my feminine, I'm being nurturing, and I'm feeling my emotions, and I'm feeling other people's emotions, and I step into that motherly type energy. That's got nothing to do with the body that I'm in. That's got nothing to do with the that I identify as female and feminine, and my pronouns are she and her. That's got nothing to do with that, and that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about energy. Even right now, as I'm talking to you now, I'm in my masculine, so I'm relaying information, right? So this is masculine energy. You guys who watch these readings regularly, you know that I'm not talking about the body that you're in or what you identify as or any of that stuff. You could be non-binary and you could be gender fluid and all that stuff, and it's still, you still have masculine and feminine energy, and it's just the way that it's built. It's like in science, energy is either positive or it's negative. There's nothing in between. It's one or the other, right? And this is exactly the same thing. It's either masculine or it's feminine. It's one or the other, always. There's nothing outside of that. There's nothing in between. And all it means really is the way that you think, the way you function, the way you interact. That's all it is, really. So, going back to your dream, the masculine was on his ship, moving forward. The feminine sitting still on a docked ship, right, on a planet. You'll notice in those readings, the masculine collective is leading the masculine energy is leading the feminine energy. So you can take this however you like. You could look at this as being the energy. I say this at the beginning of every TFT reading, but you could look at this energy, take this information as being the divine masculine, divine feminine energy within you, or you could look at it as being what's outside of you, with the males and the females, right, on the planet. It's both. It's one and the same thing, really, because what goes on within is reflected back to you in the physical reality. This is what the twin flame dynamic is. You align and balance the divine masculine, divine feminine energies within yourself, and hence it will become aligned outside of yourself, between you and your twin or soul flame, whatever you want to call it. As above, so below. Exactly right. Yeah, exactly. As above, so below. As within, so without. Exactly that. So the masculine collective energy is leading the feminine energy. So that's almost represented in your dream there, where the masculine is moving forward and he's going where he wants to go, and the feminine is just sort of chilling. That's exactly what the collective is doing right now. The masculine has absolutely got his shit together. The masculine energy, okay? There may well be men in your life who, or you may be a male who absolutely does not have your shit together, there's definitely, but again, I'm not talking about men and women, I'm talking about energy. So, yeah, we'll do vibe checks today for sure. So the masculine energy is, he's been doing, over the last couple of months, he's been doing a lot of purging. He's been getting rid of all of the things that doesn't serve him anymore. He's changed his job. He's changed who he hangs out with. He's changed the way that he relates to himself and to other people. He's changed his whole mindset. He's just overhauled absolutely everything, and he's been merciless about it because he's absolutely fucking had enough. He's had enough of not getting anywhere in life. He's had enough of not being successful. He's had enough of toxicity, and there's just, old habits that have been broken that weren't healthy or serving him anymore. So he's now at a point where he's moving forward. He's not thinking about the divine feminine, right? I don't want feminines here now listening to this being like, oh, my twin flame, I want to be reunited with my twin flame, and he doesn't care about me. Bullshit, right? He absolutely does, but he's just not focused on you right now. He's focused on himself, which is what he needs to do as a leader, right? Because he is leading the feminines now. For the last 2,000 odd years, the feminines have been leading the masculine. And we can see the effects of this over the course of history over the last 2,000 years, where women have been quietly in control, but men have, through their ego, felt the need to keep women as lesser than them. That's just a kind of superiority complex that has manifested itself in that way. You know, like I said, we can really dig into this and super analyze it, and I'd like to, but we'll be here all fucking day and night and tomorrow as well. So the masculine is this is what he's doing right now. He's focused on himself. He's in a very healthy place. His heart and headspace are very clear and free of bullshit, because he's cleared everything out. And his physical reality, I mean, I'm drawing on the information now from the last read that we did last week. In his physical space, there's not really much going on. I mean, we've also seen this. Everything's so intertwined, of course, but we're seeing this with Uranus being in retrograde. We're also seeing this in the other planets, really, all of them across the board that are in retrograde. They're all serving their purpose right now to bring the masculine along. So he's ready to be in a leadership role, right, and to be very comfortable and calm within that role, which he is. He's doing very, very well. The masculine energy is doing very, very well. Then you've got the feminine energy, right? The feminines took it really hard that they're not in charge anymore, and really struggled to just surrender to that. Presently, she is surrendering. She's having a bit of an easier time with that, but that wasn't without her kicking and screaming all the way. To the point where she realised that this isn't getting her anywhere, and now she's just going to need to chill and relax and just go with the flow. She's doing that now, but boy, was it a journey to get there. Like the whole of this year up until this point, she was just resisting it and pining after her masculine like crazy. Hey Mamu, how you doing, my lovely? So the divine feminine energy has now reached a point where she is in surrender, and she's doing her own thing, but she's still checking up on her. Right, let's get personal for a minute, right? There's a lot of feminines out there who they either know who their twin is, or they're convinced that this certain person is their twin, right? And I put it that way because in some cases insecurity leads the feminine energy to cling to whoever they were last in love with, and if they're still in love with that person, they're just going to cling with all their might and absolutely insist that that person's their twin flame, even if they're not. They may have been a karmic relationship, but that varies depending on the individual set of circumstances, you know. So if you're a feminine and you know who your twin is, I'm not going to dispute that, okay? It's none of my business, but I am just going to put that out there, that in some cases that person actually isn't your twin flame or your soul flame. It's just someone that you're sort of clinging to. But as you work on yourself, then that feeling will get released. If you're working on yourself and you get to a point where you're just like totally whole and complete in yourself, and you're not bothered whether or not you're with your twin, because you know that you don't need them, you just want them, right? And you still feel that that particular person's your twin, then they probably are. If you've released them and then it's almost like you see the light and you're like, oh shit, that person's like really not my, like, how did I think that? Then they're not your twin, right? They were a karmic relationship. At this point, I'm like, everything is a karmic relationship. The lessons just keep teaching, are giving, and giving with the toughest love. Yeah, right. Yeah, but you know, that just means that you have things to learn. That's all it is. And Spirit's hitting the fast forward button this year on things that we need to learn to bring us along to a point where we can start setting ourselves up for the rest of our lives. So, I mean, no pressure, but you know, if you have a lot to learn, then it's all going to get crammed into a year. You know, if you don't have much to learn, then maybe just have a few bits and pieces here and there. But if you're experiencing a lot of fucking bullshit this year, then that's why Spirit is just playing catch up with you. That's all it is. So staying open and you know, surrendering to it and learning what you can and not getting emotionally attached is the way forward. That's how you learn. So the feminines soak it all up just like a little sponge. Exactly. So yeah, the feminines, right, that's what I was saying. So I know that there's you know, some feminines here or watching this as a VOD or watching this on YouTube or whatever, that are probably that are right. I'm not, like I said, let's get personal, okay? We're just going to get real personal for a minute. You are stalking your man. You are either, you know, or you're convinced, one or the other, right? That this guy is your twin flame. You're in separation. So you're working on yourself and you're doing what the divine feminine energy is sort of meant to be doing right now. But you're also, curiosity gets the better of you every now and then, and you check up on his social media to see what he's up to. Or you might hang around in places where you know that he's going to be if you live nearby, maybe. Maybe you'll sort of detour to deliberately walk past his house and then convince yourself that you're taking a shortcut where really you're adding 5 minutes to your journey. You're only doing it because you're being nosy. And you're sort of winding yourself up and torturing yourself with, yeah, but what's he doing? Is he thinking about me? Does he still love me? Does he want to be with me? Like, who fucking cares, all right? You concentrate on yourself, right? And the reason that you're in or continuing to be in separation is because you're in this mindset, right? So I'm going to be tough with you, okay? Because I love you, because I want union for everybody, right? The masculine and feminine energies, they have to reunite at some point. They have to. It's what they're programmed to do. They might not reunite in this lifetime, but if they don't, that's because one of you is out of whack. And right now, the feminines are out of whack. So, just saying, right? You know, there's a lot of feminines out there that are just pining. They're pining so hard after their twin. They don't feel whole and complete in themselves, and they're not focusing on themselves enough. They're checking up on their social media, and they're kind of getting a bit stalkerish. So if that's you, stop it. Okay? You need to do what he's doing, right? This is why the masculines are leading the feminines. You need to do as he is doing. If he's not paying you any attention, then don't pay him any attention, okay? This isn't about playing games. This isn't about creating drama. This is just working with energy, right? Whatever his energy is doing, you need to match it. And that's not because this is a game. That's not like, oh, he's doing this, so I'm going to do this. It's, he's doing this for what reason? Because he's serving himself right now. And that's exactly what the masculine energy is supposed to be doing right now. It's also what the feminine energy is supposed to be doing, but she's struggling to surrender to that right now. So I'm trying to stay out of the nitty-gritty of this stuff right now. But it's tough sometimes when I pick up a channel, so we'll just let that rest. So going back to your dream then, North. It's interesting that this ghost comes over from the masculine and goes to the feminine and says to her, stay off the internet, and then goes back. Now, I don't know if you could take this as being... Now, the thing is, right, what I find especially interesting is that everything is a ripple effect. And as you and I both know, everything is destined in one way or another. Yes, we can fight it, and sometimes fighting it is part of the destiny, isn't it? And then creates the end result that spirit desires anyway. and it makes you wonder. It's almost like chicken and egg sort of scenario stuff, right? You had this dream and you chose to share it, and now we're talking about it here. I've just taken it in the way that I've taken it and talked about all the things I've talked about, and we've helped X amount of people through having this conversation. If you'd kept it to yourself, it almost makes me wonder if the dream was even for you in the first place. You know what I mean? Like, you had the dream, like you became the messenger, and you came and brought it here, and you didn't bring it to me in a private call or in a DM. You brought it to me here, where we can talk about it with all of you, right? Yeah, so you became like a messenger. I almost feel like this dream, I mean, it's not for me to say whether a dream is for you or not, because that's like me God modding your fucking life, you know, and I'm not about that. Hey Sunflower, how are you doing, my lovely? How are you? Collective information, sharing is key. Yeah, exactly right. But yeah, you know, that's what I find especially interesting about this. And if you hadn't had that dream, we wouldn't have had this conversation for the last 15 minutes. How mad is that? Yeah, I get you. I mean, a lot of people have been saying this, like, you're just sort of enduring and just getting through it. Personally, I can't really relate to that. Which I find interesting in itself. I mean, I know as an energy worker I am ahead of the collective, but not by much. It seems that there's still a lot of people within the collective that have a lot of surrendering to do, which is what we just talked about really with Earth. If you're still going through the ringer, I guess that's probably what it is. Yeah, if you're still experiencing that baptism of fire, Spirit's just playing catch up. Excuse me, just playing catch up with you. Still got some stuff to learn to get you ready for next year. The next energetic phase will be February of next year. Well, not strictly true. I think the winter solstice is going to play a major role here to making us sort of go within. Although in a way, with Uranus in Taurus right now, it's kind of making us go within a little bit more. Things are starting to slow down with these retrogrades. I'm from Melbourne, Australia. Who the fuck? We spent nearly a year in lockdown. Yeah. I mean, here in the UK, lockdown went on for about 18 months, and it only lifted a month ago. I don't know. I don't really leave the house, so I don't really notice, to be honest. Life is exactly the same for me now as it was 3 years ago. It just literally makes no difference to me whatsoever. I know that makes me kind of a cunt, and I'm sorry for that. I don't mean that. I don't mean that like fuck you guys. I just mean I'm oblivious, honestly, to this sort of stuff, you know, because I don't really leave the house. I do all of my shopping online. Amazon has just blessed their hearts. They've just soldiered through. And if you order, as you probably know, if you order from Amazon, you still get your shit the following day. So, you know, yeah, Amazon's amazing. I love Amazon. Well, I mean, I suppose I tell a lie a little bit. Like, when lockdown lifted, I was able to go clothes shopping. So I don't like to buy clothes from Amazon because I like to try stuff on. Because, you know, it's all well and good being like, I'm a size whatever. But different clothes from different stores fits you differently, right? I think women could probably relate to this a little bit more than men, because women want clothes to fit in a certain way. And I'm not saying men don't care, because men do, but generally, like, women want things that are like figure hugging, perhaps. And we also have wider hips than men do. So a lot of women have hourglass shape. Men don't have an hourglass shape. They're just not built that way. And like, I like wearing like fitted dresses, and I like to wear like lingerie and stuff rather than just like regular underwear. So I like to actually go out and try clothes on before I buy them. and obviously you can't do that on Amazon. Also, there's so much cheap tat on Amazon when it comes to clothes. Anyway, I've bought like so many things for Amazon, like clothing wise, and I've worn them only a couple of times, and then like a thread will come loose, and you know when you're just like, I'm gonna pull that. The clothes just come apart. That happens all the time when I buy clothes from Amazon, so I've stopped doing it now. I'm just not doing it. So I couldn't go clothes shopping or shoe shopping during the lockdown. I don't know, again, that makes me sound really fucking spoiled when there's people dying out there, and I don't mean any harm or disrespect. It's just from my perspective, it's just my life, you know. I was deprived of clothes shopping. That was the extent of how I was affected by the pandemic. Don't mean any harm by that. Sorry if that's offended anybody. Don't mean for that to trigger anybody. But, you know, I can only speak from my own perspective, right? You know what I'm saying? Didn't mean to sound totally spoiled there. So... Yeah, right, it's what makes life rich. And we all have different experiences, for sure. I mean, you know, oh god, I don't really want to talk about it. Do I want to touch this? Do I want to touch this? I think what we see on the news is very exaggerated compared to what... People are dying, people are sick, absolutely, yeah. I'm not denying that whatsoever. But it's hugely exaggerated on the news. Hugely exaggerated, because you know what they want. What they want is for us to they want for us to be depressed, right? They want us to be depressed because then we go to the right. They lock us up. First of all, population reduction, release a virus, right? Fuck everyone, fuck up the entire world. Completely ruin the economy, so that small independent businesses fail, and the companies that are the major, you know, entities that are like running the economy, they prevail and they get richer because the smaller companies close. That's one aspect of it. Also, population reduction. Lots of death means lots of people being very sad and upset, of course, and you know, a lot of people have lost people, and that's made them you know, take time off of work if they've been in a job that has continued, and it's you know, it's made people very, very, very unhappy. Also, another aspect of it is, you know, locking us up in our houses, making our homes a prison. And, you know, they've been very fucking clever about it too, because we've asked for it, right? We've asked to be imprisoned because they've created so much fear. We don't want to go outside. Our cage doors are open, right? But we won't leave. And how do you control a big group of people? You scare them. you frighten them, right? You put the fear of fucking God into them, and then they start asking for their own demise. They start asking for their own you know, misery in a way, right? Rather be miserable than dead, right? So I'm going to stay inside, you know, is the sort of mentality that they have created. And this is what they want, because then of course they lift the lockdown, and there's still a lot of people that, even though we, like here in the UK, we don't have to wear masks. Thank you, Sunflower, for the follow, my lovely. I super appreciate that. Thank you very much, my lovely. Hazed and dazed. Have you seen the DMs I've sent you last time regarding this topic? Yes? Remind me. I read all of my DMs, but I'm not sure what you're talking about. Remind me. Yeah, so not only is the economy fucked because of all of this, but also there's population reduction, right? Less people is easier to control. And of course they've done it now. They released the virus during the time of the Great Conjunction. I don't know if anybody clocked that. The Great Conjunction brought about a new era, the Age of Aquarius. It's a new energetic era that is largely populated with Generation Z? Generation X? Generation... What is it? What's it called? Can't remember what it's called now. Basically a bunch of star seeds, right? Gen Z. Yeah, right? Gen Z. The new kids, yeah. Right? All the... not all of the people from, like, let's call it the old world, okay? The old way of doing things. The way things have been done for the last 2,000 years. Where men rule supreme, like... I'm going to use this loosely, okay, because obviously the masculine energy is now leading the feminine energy, but he's doing it through compassion because he learned that through the feminines. He also learned that through suppressing the feminines over the last 20,000, the last 2,000 years. So let's scratch that, shall we? That's just going to get confusing. But the old way of doing things, you know, is you go to school. And you get good grades, and then you perhaps go to college or university and you get more good grades, and then you get a job, a career that's going to last you for the rest of your life, where you're working for somebody else, mind you, and you meet someone and you settle down, you get married and you have children and you have grandchildren, you retire, right? This is how things have always been done. And now this new generation, right, most of those people are now elderly people, and you know, like I'm level 36, so you know, I'm like the next generation. And then there's kids that, like, I don't have children, but you know, if I'd had kids in my early 20s or whatever, they'd be like teenagers now, right? That's the generation, really. We're the game changers, yes, and then our kids are the ones that are being raised. So some of you might be of that sort of age group. I mean, I hope that you're not under 16, because this stuff is probably a little bit heavy for kids to be watching. But you know, teenagers, you know, for sure, 16 up, let's say. People born since 2005-6. Right, yeah. So I'm 84. So 80s children, I'm not even going to say late 70s. I'd say mid 80s to mid 90s. Since 2012 is Gen Alpha. Oh, okay. We are the generate, like me and, you know, other people my age are the generation that are the game changers, because our parents did things a certain way that we're not into that. You know, we're not into the career where you're working for someone else. We want to work for ourselves. We want to create. We're creatives. Most not all of us. But you know, generally speaking, we're creatives. So bringing about the Age of Aquarius means that all of the children that are born now are like us. They're seeking truth. They're finding new and innovative and dynamic ways of doing things. We're breaking free of the mold. We don't want to do things in the way that things have always been done. We want to we want to forge a new path. The Age of Aquarius, the Great Conjunction last year, December 21st last year, heralded the official beginning of this. And this is when they decide that they're going to drop COVID. They did it a year beforehand just to make sure that it affected people. So when the Great Conjunction actually happened, the Great Conjunction, by the way, for those of you who don't know, was a planetary alignment between Saturn and Jupiter. You could literally see the two planets next to each other like this with the naked eye on the horizon, that one night only. And the energy that the two of them brought when they came that close to each other was just monumental. And we're still, the Great Conjunction is the same as the Great Reset. Yes, that's exactly what it was. It was the Great Reset. Yeah, exactly. I call it the Great Conjunction. Some people call it the Great Reset. See, people who are like sleepers, let's say, are calling it the Great Reset, and they're referring to COVID. But the Great Conjunction was all the same thing energetically. But the elite wanted to prevent us from like waking up, right? Those well, I'm already awake, right? So I stayed awake. A lot of you already awake, so you stayed awake. I mean, once you're awake, you can't go back to sleep again. You just can't. It's like Cypher in the Matrix, and he was like, just put me back in the Matrix. It just cannot be done. You cannot go back to the Matrix. Once you've woken up from it, that's it. It's like you can't unsee what you've seen, right? You can't unknow what you know. And so the elite didn't want the sleepers to wake up. They didn't want them to be, you know, like us. Because imagine if every single person on the planet was like us. There'd be no factory farming of animals. We'd all be working for ourselves. We'd all be creating things. The way that we interact with each other would be way more compassionate. There'd be no more bullshit drama reality TV shows. You know, that stupid shit like The Only Way is Essex, where everyone's just fucking toxic to each other. Because there wouldn't be any toxic people. There'd be no news, exactly, right? Because it's all fake news anyway. There would just be love and compassion and openness and surrender, and everyone would meditate, and everyone would engage in Kundalini and the news, right? Yeah. So you know the effects of everyone being awake like us is just exponential. I mean, there's no way that we could sit here and really nail every single thing. There'd be just so many. There'd be so many things that would be different. Society, just mankind as a species, would be so fucking different. The whole world meditating as one, we would probably just like into pure light and just fuck off back to the ether. Earth would just like, oh my god, that would just be absolutely crazy. We would all fucking float off into the heavens, you know. So the elite don't want this to happen, right? They don't want us to float off into the into the ether, right? Because they want money. Let's just be fucking blunt about it, right? Let's be real. They want money. They want their big yachts. They want to continue to sacrifice the blood of children. They literally sacrificing the blood of children to the devil. They're into some fucking weird shit. We work with the light forces and they work with the dark forces. They work with some real dark fucking shit. And they do it for fame and they do it for fortune. Whereas we don't care about fame and fortune, do we? We just want to be happy. We want to generate and maintain love, right? They don't want that. They're all about cruelty and pain and you know, self-satisfaction. They're all about ego. The elite I'm talking about here. So they don't want us to wake up because we are their slaves. We are their, like the Matrix. I mean, the Matrix isn't a movie; it's a documentary, right? And it's exactly about what I'm talking about right now. It is real. It is real. The Matrix. We're in the Matrix right now. It's not the it's you know, they use a lot of metaphors and euphemisms and things, you know, to give us more of a visual, because otherwise it would just be like it wouldn't make any sense, right? Because we're too familiar with what life looks like for us. So they generate all of these different visuals and euphemisms and metaphors and such in the movie. But don't be under any illusion. It is a documentary. It is exactly what. So, you know, with all of this in mind, go and watch The Matrix again, knowing it's a documentary and not a movie, right? And you'll see what I'm talking about. Elevate everyone rather than control them to their own ends. Yes, hashtag elevate everyone. Exactly, that's what we're about. That's not what they're about. They're about like stomp on everyone, right? For their own gain. Hey Smoothie, how you doing, my love? So COVID was created in a lab. It was released purposefully, and it was made to be extremely aggressive, and we'll see what happens. I mean, this shit isn't over. I don't think it ever really will be. And if the zombie apocalypse ever happens, it's because they failed and decided to wipe out their experiment. Rather than let us be free, they will kill us. And they will not stop it. They'll sacrifice us, basically. So don't be under any illusion that you are free, because you are not. And we probably never will be. I'm not trying to, make things sound doom and gloom. It's all depopulation. Exactly right. They sacrificed us, and I mean there was many things that were at play over the course. So they released COVID, right? They got a bunch of people sick. We went into lockdown. The first lockdown that we all experienced in our various countries was sure. I'll get there, Smoothie. I'm not doing readings just yet. The first lockdown was an experiment, because it was like a soft lockdown, wasn't it? It was just an experiment, and they wanted to know how things would how we would cope with that, and the whole thing was an experiment. I mean, this was planned 50 years ago. All of this was planned easily 50, 60 years ago. They knew exactly what they were going to do. They've been working on this shit for fucking years. I'm far more worried about these robots that are being created rather than zombies. Yeah, they're saying it's for the military, but it's not. It's to keep us in line. As soon as martial law is declared, which may or may not happen in our lifetime, but it will definitely happen in our children's lifetime, absolutely in our grandchildren's lifetime. Martial law at some point will be declared. There won't be human soldiers on the street. There'll be robots on the street, because you can't fucking stop those things. So, this soft lockdown was the first one. There's been many different forms of lockdown, yes, and the aim for that was to keep us in our houses locked away, so that we can't so that we, so many people got very, very depressed and became what's the word for it, agoraphobic. Is that the one where you fear like large open spaces, isn't it? Agoraphobia, or is that, yeah? Because claustrophobia is fear of small spaces, yeah. Agoraphobia, right? So a lot of people, lockdown was lifted and they still didn't leave their houses because they were afraid to go outside. And it wasn't just because they were afraid of COVID, but they were afraid of other people. They were afraid of, they had been in their house for a fucking year, and they get nervous now around other people. And it's not just because of the virus. It's because they've just forgotten what they haven't been social, right? If you take a dog and you lock it in a cage for a year and then you introduce it to other dogs again, it's going to be very timid and frightened of those dogs, yes? That's exactly what it's done to us. Right? You put us around our own kind again, like talking this way or talking this way, yes, is absolutely fine. We're fine with that. But you put us in the same room as each other, and suddenly we can't interact with each other because we've forgotten how. And that's exactly what they wanted. Because because of the Great Conjunction and because, we're all of the stuff I've talked about, like I said earlier, is so intertwined with each other, with the planets that we're experiencing in retrograde, with the flip-flop of the divine masculine and feminine collectives, with now the masculines are leading the feminines rather than the other way around, when they have been the other way around for 2,000 years. It's all we've known. It's so inbuilt in our DNA now. This body that I'm in experienced the feminine being in leading the masculine, and now my DNA is having to shift up to allow me to surrender to the masculine leading the feminine. It's the same with everyone of my generation. Everyone who was born before the Great Conjunction will be struggling with this, whether you're masculine or feminine. And yet my children will be born, obviously the Great Conjunction's happened now, so my children will be born the other side of the Great Conjunction. They'll have no trouble. They'll know the masculine leads the feminine, and that's that. But that's how we were born. We were born into this, knowing what this energetic state was, and that's just how life has always been. So during this time of great change and energetic shift, the elite needed to make sure that we were being actively damaged to prevent us from being able to work positively with these energies. What's the best way to do that? Lock us in cages. Well, you can't round up 8 billion people, so what do you do instead? You release a virus, right? You create a reason why people need to create their own cages, their houses. And very cleverly, as I said earlier, very, very cleverly, these people are fucking ridiculously intelligent. Yeah, I mean, you have to give them credit, right? You know, you want to dominate a planet, these are the people you need to fucking ask how to do it. Because they know what they're doing. They've had plenty of practice. They've had mankind under their thumb for thousands of years. I'm not sure if I'm lucky that I've worked the entire pandemic, as I've not had to experience that at all. Yeah, right. You know, there's some people that almost like slip the net, right? But still caught you in a slightly different net, because the virus right, you know, and like watching the news and just other people who watch the news, like Void, I know that you don't watch the news, but you know, I'm sure you're probably around people who do watch the news, or around other sleepers, right, who are like, all X amount of people died today, which is probably not an accurate number. I'm going to call it, it's not an accurate number. And people probably did die that day, but it wasn't as many as was reported in the news. And the news is always talking about COVID this, COVID that, COVID the other. And, you know, it's fear-mongering. So there's still, you know, and having to wear masks for, you know, the last 18 months. Even essential workers who are around people are still being affected in that way. The fear mongering is still, it's you know, there's enough to go around. I've worked for almost the entirety of the pandemic as well, but we learned in different ways. Perhaps not physically, but mentally and emotionally, yeah. And then the physical stuff happened. I mean, even, you know, little stuff like, you know, little stuff, it's not really little at all, but families can't get together, and haven't, you know, you still have to distance. They call it social distancing. That's an oxymoron. You can't be social and distanced at the same time. Can you? You can't. That's not being social is to be close with each other. So you're either social or you're distanced. It's one or the other. That's like, you know, it's like the living dead, right? You're either living or you're dead. There's nothing in between, right? So interesting, actually, that my brain chose that out of all of the other oxymorons that I could have chose from. That's a zombie, right? A zombie is like something is the living dead is a zombie, right? To be socially distanced is to be whatever we are right now. Social distancing. And it's become a phrase now. Everyone says it without really thinking what it means. So they want us to be nervous around each other. They want us to be, let's stay together just a little further apart. Yeah, what? Come here, but go away. Like, what? Oh, that's just so, like, people don't think about what they say. It's called spelling for a reason, because what you write and what you say, and, you know, verbal language, it's a spell. It's a spell. That's why they call it spelling. Right? So many people don't think about, you know, the impact of their words. And now, social distancing, it creates a feeling when we say that, and it creates a certain energy. And that energy is for it to be normal for us to not be near each other. And we are, as a human being, we are a social creature. We're a social animal. We want to be close to each other. We want to be around each other. You know, we want to love each other. We want to have sex with each other, right? You know, we want to be intimate, and we want to be physically intimate with each other, and we want to be emotionally connected to each other. And you know, you can't do that with someone who's sitting fucking a mile across the room. You can't do that with someone when you're socially distancing from each other. But this is what the elite have created, and we just, the sleepers anyway, just accept it. It's like, oh yeah, but the government, they're doing it for our safety. The government did this to you. The government have put you in this situation, and again, this is another thing that they're doing that they're very fucking clever about. How do you get a nation to trust you? Well, you create a disaster and then you give them the solution, but you don't tell them that you created the disaster. You just make out like it was just a weird thing that happened suddenly. But we have a solution for you. Well, it's going to make millions of people flock to you because they were afraid and frightened and couldn't fix the situation themselves, so they flock to, in this particular case, the vaccine, which just happens to be laying around. So there's so many different reasons for it. They don't want us to wake up. They want us to be more reliant on them. They want population reduction. They 7 rules of control. Yeah, for sure. They've restructured society now in such a way that social distancing is a normal thing that we all just expect now, and it's just crazy. Crazy. Okay, let's see what we got here then for redemptions. Okay, Earth, are you still here, my love? Should we do your vibe check? In the UK, the vaccine loses its effectiveness after 6 months, and they want booster jabs in place now. Yeah, well, there's already a lot of places that won't let you in unless you have like a little vaccine passport. I heard that Reading Festival, which is a really big music festival here in the UK, they won't let you in unless you've had both of your jabs. It's just beyond me. It really is. You still catch the virus even with a vaccine. Yeah, you can carry it, right? You can still carry it. The vaccine's bullshit. In my humble opinion, the vaccine is absolute bullshit. It's just bullshit. Just really. Yeah, that's the question, isn't it? What the vaccine's actually doing if they're not curing COVID. I mean, who knows? My theory right at the very beginning of the pandemic was it's going to make you more prone to just being asleep. And I don't mean like sleep. I mean like being just severing connection to source. So, I mean, the people who are awake, like you and I, who are aware of all of this stuff, we haven't taken the vaccine and won't. And the people who have flocked to get the vaccine are the people who've been under the control, under the spell of all of the fear-mongering that's been going on. So those people are probably not going to wake up now. I feel I don't know. I have nothing to base this on other than a feeling, and I think my spidey senses are tingling with this. As you know, I can't explain as an energy worker. I can't explain how I know the things that I know in the same way that I can't explain how I know. I just know. I feel like that's what it is. It's a knowing. I think that the people who are taking the vaccine are, I mean, because you can just apply logic to this, can't you? Like, I'm obviously not going to go and get the vaccine because of all of the things that I've just said that I know about the government. So why the fuck would I go and trust them? I'm like, well, you've created a disaster, I'm now going to go and get the vaccine for it. Of course not. I'm not the only one. So there's, you know, easily thousands, hundreds of thousands of people who are not going to get the vaccine for the same reason as me. I'm not playing into your game. If the whole thing's just fucking bullshit, I'm not playing into that shit. I'm not going to let you violate my body with God knows fucking what. Yeah, you tell me that this is what it's going to do, but I don't know that. Like, I personally don't know that. Do I? I'm not a scientist in a lab, so I don't know. I'm just going on what... I'm just going to take your word for it. No, because I seriously distrust the government and the elite. Because, I mean, I'm not going to trust someone who sacrifices children and drinks their blood. I'm not going to trust that. Because it goes completely, it violates everything that I stand for as a soul in this lifetime. So, you know, I'm not going to trust them. You know, they're going to deliberately kill their own for their own personal gain, and then be like, oh, but take the vaccine and you'll live. You know, come with me if you want to live. No, fuck off. I forge my own way and take my chances, thanks. So, you know, whereas the people who believe all of the bullshittery are the ones who are going and getting the vaccine. I'm not trying to call anyone out here, but I mean, it's just the truth. You can't get away from that, really, can you? I can sugarcoat it as much as you like and placate. You know, there might be people watching this now who have taken the vaccine. I'm not trying to make you feel bad. That was your choice, right? My choice is to not take it, and those are my reasons why. This isn't a witch hunt, you know. I'm still, it's not like oh, you've had the vaccine, I don't want to be friends with you. You know, obviously I'm still gonna, you know, it's your choice, it's your life, it's your body, it's your choice. But, you know, chances are people have taken the vaccine because they're afraid of getting COVID. That's why, it's fear, right? So the people who have taken the vaccine, a majority of the people who've taken the vaccine are people who are asleep to all of the stuff that I've talked about today, all of the stuff that we ever talk about on any day here on this channel. You know, they're not like spiritually inclined, they don't meditate, they perhaps even think that meditation is absolute bullshit, they don't take care of themselves, they're living in ego, they're quite happy to work a 9 to 5 every single day for somebody else because that in some way gives them some sort of satisfaction. They're not interested in really pursuing any of their own dreams. They don't really have any dreams, right? They're just sort of on autopilot. They're zombies, right? Let's just be honest. They're zombies, right? Watching the fucking 5 o'clock news every day and believing all of it, you know. Those are the people that the vaccine's aimed at. Because then those people are going to give into the fear and they're going to go and take the vaccine, and then they're never going to become spiritual. So even if I rocked up one day and I was like, oh, hey, have you ever thought about, you know, asking questions about this and that and the other? And, you know, because people like us, right, we don't force our shit on people. We just sort of, we just talk, don't we? We just are, we just be. And that just naturally rubs off on people and starts that process of like, oh yeah, I never really thought about it that way, you know. That's what we do. That's what our job is. Is not to force things upon each other. We don't go knocking on the door like, can I talk to you about Jesus Christ? You know, we don't knock on the door at all. If we bump into each other in the street, then we'll be like, oh, you know, have you thought about this and that and the other? And they'll be like, no, I haven't. You know, and it's non-intrusive. Hello Oz, how are you doing, my lovely? Planting a new seed. Yeah, that's exactly what we do. We just plant seeds, you know, and then it's up to that person if they want to water them or not. They can stomp on them if they want to, whatever. But we put the seed down. We created the opportunity for them to begin to wake up. Anyone who's had the vaccine now is not going to. There's obviously going to be exceptions, I think, to that, where there might be people here right now who's totally interested in all of this stuff and considers themselves awake and does meditate every day and still went and got the vaccine. You know, those people, I feel, are perhaps a different breed in a way, that are perhaps able to overcome the effects of the vaccine to a degree, but it's going to put a shroud over things, and it's going to make things a little bit harder to reach. But it doesn't mean that you can't reach them, right? But you know, personally, I don't want to put a shroud over myself, so I'm not going to go and get the vaccine. Quite happy with my connection to source. Thought-provoking conversations. Yeah, exactly right. I'm a weeble back from breakfast. Nice. Every time I forgot we were going to go to Greg's. I forgot. What time do they close? I think they close at like 5. No! All the sausage rollies will be gone now. We were meant to go to Gregor's today. God damn it, Oz. They close at 6? Oh yeah, but they run out of all the good stuff by like 5:15. Do they close at 6? North, do you have Greg's in Canada? Do you actually have Greg's in Canada, or are you just repeating what? Are you just repeating what Smooth said? Still possible, but as if there's a cloud or a veil over you. Yeah. I might have to run away to Greg's. I haven't, well, that's not true. I was going to say I haven't eaten today, but that's not true. I had toast. Georgie, hello lovely. Greg's. I wonder what time they close. Should I run away to Greg's? I just wanted to put a second 6 on him. I just want to put a third, so it'll be 6 to 6. You troll. I would get sausage rolls and sometimes I always look at the sandwich cabinet, but there's meat in them and I can't eat any of them. They always look so fucking good though. You know, the sandwich cabinet when you go in Greg's is like the sandwich cabinet. You know what I'm talking about? And they have all those prepackaged sandwiches, and they have paninis. Oh, my mouth is watering. And they have paninis, and they have, do they do potato wedges? Oh, dude. And they do like salad bowls, and they always look so fucking good, but I can't eat any of them. Oh mate, I used to just demolish a tuna and cheese panini from Greg's. Obviously tuna, I don't eat tuna anymore, but yeah. Oh, it's so good. They do a vegan sausage, cheese and bean melt now. I haven't tried it yet. I might have to try that. My mouth is watering so hard right now. Oh, they close at 5. Are you serious? Shit. Yeah, boo. Maybe Nando's. I'm like so fucking hungry right now. Fuck's sake, Oz. What is it with you? You just carry this energy that makes people fucking hungry. Because you, like, you rock up. It was like the second thing you said was like, oh, I'm a weeble for breakfast. And suddenly I'm like, food. Little paninis in my eyes, like, oh, feed me. The closest one to you closes at 7 p.m. What? No, it doesn't. What? thank you so much for the follow, my lovely. Thank you, my lovely. I super appreciate. I'm sorry I'm a fat American. I want to be a fat American too. Son of Asset? Am I saying that right? I butcher everyone's names here, so I apologise. Yes, finally caught you live. Hello. Hello indeed. How are you doing, my lovely? Good to see you. I know, I haven't been live for like the longest fucking time. It was like 2 months or something. I am saying it right. Awesome. Yeah, I haven't been live for like 2 months. For a number of reasons. But yeah, we're here. We're here. And you will be one day. One day I will be a fat American. It's been my dream to be a fat American. Nandaloos. Yeah, right, that's what I was doing. I need to check my bank balance because I'm not sure if we can do Nandaloos. Other name for the god of Isis. Oh, okay, yes. I thought it sounded familiar to me, but it's been a long time since I last looked at, you know, ancient Egyptian stuff. It does, I double checked. Which one are you looking at? Because the one that we go to is next to Pets at Home. You don't want to give away where I am. Are you looking at the one in town? Because we don't go to the one in town because sausage rolls are fucking inferior. DM me on Discord and tell me which one you're looking at. Sure. The one in the High Street. Right, yeah. Yeah, the other one is like on the main road. And the guys that like they know is in there. Because when we go in there, we get, like what do we normally get? We get a packet of jam donuts. We get 8 sausage rolls. 2 sausage and bean melts. Most of this is Void's food, by the way. just say Void's preparing also to be a fat American, so 2 sausage and bean melts, 2 pepperoni pizza slices, and a coffee. So we spend like £30 in there every time we go in there. Okay, Nando's comes to like £30, right? I don't think I can do it. I mean, I get paid soon, but... I'm just food shaming. Well, the thing is, though, I can really fucking eat. Like, okay, I'm not one of those girls where, like, you take me on a date and I'm like, oh, I'll just have a salad. I'll be like, no, right, I'm just gonna fucking rinse the menu here, okay? I can fucking eat. Trust. I don't even mind because it's kind of, it's accurate. It's absolutely true, everything that I just said. I mean, we can do it, you know. Oh, my eye is just like constantly fucking watering. Hello? Where did you rob a bank today? Where did you get that? Oh, Oz! Did you just buy me dinner? Thank you so much for 3333. Thank you. Okay, dinner's on me. Oz, I could kiss you, and I will when I see you in person. Finally, I'm gonna kiss you. I'm gonna kiss you so fucking hard. I'm gonna be like, and I'll be, and it's all for all the dinners, that you've bought me over the years. Are just like, just gonna fucking kiss the crap out of you. Amazing. You'd like come pick me up from the airport, and I'll just like be making out with you in the middle of everybody, and I'll be like, "What are you doing?" Like, go get a room. And I'm like, "No, it's because you bought me lots of dinner." And you don't understand. I really like food. With just Greggs everywhere. Yeah, exactly. Just like pastry, you know, all around my mouth. Oh god, my eye is watering so hard. Stop it. Stop it, my makeup. Save the makeup. Oh, I am excited. I am so excited. Nando's. There will be pictures. Sure, but not yet. I think we'll keep going until we hit the 2-hour mark. We'll do a few readings. And then and then yes. Oh no, but wait a minute, because I want a burger. I want a burger. Yeah, wait until I finish streaming, and then we'll do the order. Should we do it that way? No, because it takes like 25. Wait, I will tell you what I want. Sorry. That was confusing. Wait. Okay. I'll message you on Discord, okay? So... Okay. I missed your message. By the way, I've decided I'm taking you to the pencil museum. What? Why am I going to a pencil museum? How is there a fucking museum for a pencil? Come on now. 4 of everything. Yes. The pencil museum? The fuck is a pencil museum? Yeah, exactly. I'm with Oz on this. What the fuck is a pencil museum? You've been to the pencil museum. Georgia, I'm not sure if that's something you want to brag about. Oh my god. What the fuck is the point? It was cool. Why? What? Why? How? How though? Oh, that shit's too funny. Tell me, was that a link or what? No, wait. Tell me about the pencil museum. It was about the history of pencils, and you get to do a quiz thing. I'm guessing that this museum is like the smallest museum ever. Because pencils There can't be. There's like, this is an ancient pencil. It's going to look basically the same as a HB pencil that I have right here, right? I haven't shown them pendant. No, right, tonight we're going to get in a private call. Not a private call, what am I talking about? What am I talking about? I will get into a call privately with each of you to discuss the pendant museum. No. I don't know what I'm talking about. We're going to get into Discord call. Yes. You know, in main chat. Fucking. I'm just too hungry to function now. There was talk of Nando's and now everything's fallen apart. Yes, and we'll talk about Pendon, because Void and I went to Pendon Museum over the weekend, and it's a little model village, and it's really, really interesting. The guy who made, yeah, dude, it was like, I thought I was going to go see a model village, like outside, where you can walk amongst the houses, and there's a train going around. Hell no, this thing was like, okay, it was all indoors. I know I said I was going to tell you later in a call, but I'll show you pictures and stuff later. So if any of you are interested in joining the Discord, just to see pictures of a model village, I recommend it. Come join us. Come join us for that later, after I stuff my face with Nandaloos. Seriously, Smoothie, this place was like your wet dream. Like the trains were incredible. And we've got videos and pictures and stuff that we took specifically to show you, because we knew that you would just wet your pants over it. It was fucking so good. The whole thing was inside, and like the first exhibit that we saw was a fictitious, yeah, right? It was a fictitious like 1920s, 1930s sort of town. It was like a town and a river, and there was a river going all the way through it. There was a little village on one end and a railway line that ran along the river that went to a town, and the whole thing was fucking massive. It was quite narrow, but it was really, really long. And it was the dude, I can't remember his name. Can you remember his name? The guy who, he started this thing in the 1920s. And he made everything by hand. Absolutely. He made the trains himself. The little electric trains. They weren't just like ornament, like they were proper trains that went along the track and pulled carriages and stuff. He made absolutely everything himself. He made the landscape, he made the trees, like there were all of these different, there was like a plaque that showed you the different stages of making the tree. Just one tiny little tree that's like this big, and like it must have taken hours just to make a fucking tree, let alone a train, or like the little houses where all the little bricks were individually hand painted, and there was curtains inside the windows, and the trains had little people inside the carriages, and it was just fucking mad. Like, it was just mind-blowing, the detail, you know? So that was just one exhibit. Like, in the next room was it the Yorkshire Moors? Dartmoor? I can't remember. Was it Dartmoor? Yeah, right, okay, it was Dartmoor. But they put in a fictitious railway station, because there is a train line that runs through, but there isn't a station there, so they like had a fictitious station. But yeah, this thing was like easily 3 times the size and of like the first one I was talking about. I mean, the first one was all set in the 1920s as well, so like all the ye olde shops and horses and carriages and stuff. I was just fucking insane, seriously. And then the second one was like twice the size, and there were all these like mountains, like the Dartmoor moors, and all these mountains and stuff. And there was an operator sitting in, and I took some pictures of, because there were like cameras of what's going on underneath the mountains. There's an operator sitting in there running all of the trains, and you could see all of the railway lines that they had underneath, and like it was all the behind the scenes stuff, like you could see it all. It was so cool. It was like I don't know, I got lost in it. It was amazing, really really cool. Like the detail was just off the fucking chart, seriously. Like little, like there was a big bridge that went like skirted the side of this like mountain sort of thing. It wasn't like mountain like snow-capped mountain, it was like moors, but from our perspective this thing looked like a big hillside, like a mountainside, and there was a bridge that went across, like a really really tall bridge, and like a viaduct, yeah, exactly. And then underneath it was a stream of water that was done in resin, that was like coming down the mountainside and then down towards us, and then where it ended, because it was all perspex glass. And there was a, like, just the detail. There was a woman standing at the edge of the stream, facing like away from us, and she had her arm out like this, or she was like doing this sort of thing. And then I was like, what's she doing? And as I'm looking through, way back, like in the back, there was a border collie dog that she was obviously calling, and it was coming like down the stream, like where it like run off under the bridge. It was fucking mad. Like, who would even think to put that there? You know what I mean? It's just the detail was insane. But all of that was nothing compared to the third and final exhibit, which was this just gigantic miniature depiction of it's the white horse, isn't it? It was Mahusive. God, what's it called? It's literally up the road from where I live, pretty much. The Vale, that's right. Yeah, the Vale. It's quite close to where I live. And there's a chalk horse in the hillside, like really really big. When you're standing on the horse, it's just like paths. It just looks like a pathway, but from a distance, it's this big stick horse on the side of the hill. Google it. Google white horse or horse on hill, the Vale, UK, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's like a big stick horse. There was a miniature version of that whole landscape, so it was the hillside with the horse, but then there were all these little different towns and villages, and there were trains just like whizzing around, and again, like passengers in the carriages, and like swans on the lake, and there was a little tiny little dude that was like fixing his bike where the chain had come off, like on the pavement. He was just fixing his bike. There was like people hanging, like a lady hanging her washing out. There was a little church, and like pigeons sitting on the roof. Like, it's just fucking mad. It was absolutely mad. And I had a paranormal experience whilst I was there, which I'll just tell you about it now, rather than save it for the call later. Two paranormal experiences, right. So when we first got there, prior to us going there, about 3 or 4 days before we went there, some of you will know about this already because you were there in that stream when it happened. North and Oz definitely were there. I was streaming here on Twitch, and I was playing Soma, and the spoon I always have a spoon in my teacup. It's just like a habit. I just always leave the spoon in there, and it always sits right here. And so it sits like equivalent of here, but down on my desk, right? So if it's here, my arms are always here, right? So it's that distance away. It's far, right? It's not like I accidentally knock it. That's why I deliberately put it there. So because I know I gesticulate a lot when I'm talking. The spoon moved. Exactly. The spoon just went. I don't know if you heard that. Did you hear that? Right, you did hear that. Did that all by itself, and I still don't know how it did it, because I didn't see it happen. But it made that noise. And the only way to make it make that noise is to do that. It was the same noise, right? I don't normally experience physical paranormal activity. There's nothing around where I live at the moment. I had a little bit of drama lately with it, but it's all moved on now and it's all stopped. And none of it was physical stuff. I mean, Void got touched. Stop. Go fly somewhere else. You've got a whole world to explore. Void got touched on the leg, but that's the extent. I got shoulder rubs. I didn't really get shoulder rubs. I just got tingling on one of my shoulder blades. Yeah, no orbs have been around. No, exactly. There's nothing here. There's nothing going on now. There was a couple of spirits, but they've both been moved on with all of the disruption. And I cleansed and I worked with them and moved them on, and etc. etc. So, but even then, there was nothing physical going on. But that happened, right? And right, dude, can you? Can you move on, please? Just go away. So there was that, and then there was nothing else. And then a couple of days later, we went to this model village, which was built by a guy who was easily in his 40s in 1930 or 1920. So he's dead now, either way. 1920, right? He was in his 40s. He was like middle-aged, right? And so, you know, we're walking around this museum, and obviously when you're at a museum, like, there's so many things to look at that I wasn't thinking, oh, paranormal stuff. Sorry, I've missed a bit out, right? We arrive in the parking lot, and we get out of the car, and we walk over to the front door. It's a very small museum. It's in a tiny little village in the middle of nowhere, and the place wasn't very busy. It's like people don't really know about it, which is a shame because it's fucking awesome and I highly recommend it. So we get there, and there was people already like paying to get in, so we just sort of waited sort of in the doorway kind of thing, and I had one foot in and one foot out. And as soon as I stepped one foot in, I just felt something, but I couldn't put my finger on what it was, because I don't always, you know, I like, yes, I work with energy and stuff, but I'm not perfect. I don't always spot things straight away. So yeah, that's true. Yeah, when the activity actually happened, it was right at the end of the day, and the place was about to close, so everyone had left and we were the only people left in the place, like visiting, you know. So yeah, I felt something, but it wasn't significant enough for me to be like, ugh, you know, and it didn't feel horrible. It was just like, oh, you know. But then museums are full of really old stuff usually, you know, so there's always energy in those places, even if it's not active. Anyway, so we were waiting to pay to get in, and then it was our turn, so we went like into the actual building properly, and we were talking to there was an older gentleman who was like taking our money, you know, and like getting us to sign different things and telling us about different exhibits that we might want to pay extra attention to. And he was just like super helpful and obviously very passionate about this this guy's work, you know, because that's what it was all about. Sometimes we chalk it up to yeah, exactly, there's always energy, exactly right. So it's not that I wasn't paying attention, but I was just like not focusing on it, I suppose, because I know that museums, I always feel the way that I always feel like that in museums, right? So this guy is talking to us about this and that, and then he started to say, in my head, he started to say, so when you go upstairs, just be aware that there is a ghost up there and blah, 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 blah. And he was talking so quickly that I was like, oh, okay, sorry, what? And then I realised that that's not what he said at all. He said something like, and when you go upstairs, you'll see the veil exhibit, and then he was telling us a little bit about it. He didn't say anything about a fucking ghost, but I swear that that's what I heard, but now in hindsight, now I know, that's not what he said at all, but I was picking up on that energy because he said, and when you go upstairs, that bit I heard correctly. The rest of it I didn't. So the ghost that's upstairs, I channeled it. The ghost was telling me I'm upstairs, basically. But I didn't realise that that's what had happened at the time. It's only now that I know, because the experiences that I had were upstairs. They weren't downstairs. Anyway, so we go around all the exhibit, and there's loads of stuff to see downstairs, so we were down there for ages, and then we went upstairs to the last exhibit. We were up there for ages as well, but there was also a family with 2 young children, and they were hoity-toity, posh, fucking twat types, and the youngest child, I shit you not, was going, "Mummy, mummy, 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 mummy," and me and Void were losing our fucking minds. So we were deliberately hiding. We were actually hiding in, hey Rains, how are you doing, my lovely? Hello, oh, fucking Shirley. Fuck. There's always that like, oh, what's her name? Shirley, yes. Hello, my lovely. How are you doing? How are you guys? So I'm really not exaggerating. I'm not exaggerating. This is what the kid was doing, and it was driving us fucking insane. So we were genuinely hiding. We were like hiding in a corner by one of the exhibits, and we were waiting for these people to come past us and go upstairs in front of us. And then we could hear them at the top of the stairs. Like at the top of the stairs, you like turn right, so we couldn't see them anymore. But at the top right, to the point where I got my phone out and I started recording it, because I was like, no one's going to believe me. No one's going to believe me that this kid is making this much noise. And the mum was just ignoring him. I swear, and me and Void were both like, God, if like our kids did that and it was just going, mummy, 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 I'd be like, if my kid was doing that, I'd fucking clock him one. I'd just be like, stop. Just stop. I will. If you don't stop, I will beat you. No, not quite. But in all seriousness, if my kid was doing that, I would be like, stop. I will come to you when I'm ready. Stop it. Do you still have the vid? I do. I do. I think I actually hit record like just when the kid finally fucking stopped. kids and their stupid little voices. Yeah, no, I think I actually missed it. Because I pulled my phone out, because I was looking across at Void like, is this actually happening? Like, is this actually happening right now? Is this for real? Is this actually real? Because it was so weird for a kid to be going, mummy, 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 and for the parent to be completely ignoring them. Seriously, it was just, I was just absolutely in disbelief that this was even happening and that they could even tune that out. Like, how can you tune something like that out? So I was like, you know what, I'm going to record this. So I pulled my phone out because I was like, no one's going to believe me, right? I pulled my phone out, and I think that's when the kid actually fucking stopped. Anyway, so we were downstairs for a way longer than we really wanted to be, because we were waiting for this fucking family to get past us and to just piss off so that we could, like, you know, it must happen that often. Yeah, exactly, that they just don't hear it. Like, are you fucking serious? It really fucking triggers me when families are out in a place like that and their kids are just being vile, and because damn, exactly, and they are so unaware of how much it's disrupting everyone around them. Because like Void and I were taking videos of like the trains coming past and stuff, and this kid, like Void, do you remember, like the mother was holding the kid up to the because the perspex was like, it probably came up to here on me, like it was wood panelled and then perspex like this, so kids obviously couldn't see, and there was like a little plinth around the outside so that they could stand on it and then see, but this kid was still too little, so the mum was like holding him up so that he could see through the glass. Some kids shouldn't be allowed in, some kids just shouldn't be allowed, some kids just shouldn't be. Put them in cages. I'm gonna be a great parent. And the kid still couldn't see, so the mum was like holding oh for sure, yeah, was just like holding this kid up to see, and then her other child wanted to see something else. Oh my god, no. So she put the little kid down and then went and picked up the other kid, and the train started to come past, and this kid fucking screamed bloody murder that he wanted to see this train come past, and I was just like dying inside, like, God, if my child behaved like that, I would literally just pick them up and take them back to the car. Like, you cannot be in there making that noise. That is absolutely not acceptable. This cannot happen. If you don't behave, then you can't take part in the activity along with everyone else. You can just sit in the fucking car. There's just no way I would tolerate that. I don't know if that makes me a strict parent or what, but these parents just fucking hell. Put them in the boot. Why have you timed out north? No, what have you done, Oz? Why have you timed out north? What did he do? Is it because he said delete us? Oh no. No, look what you made. Look, he made him cry. Oh no. I'm reluctant to make North a mod because I feel like I want to make North a mod. Cries in Canadian. I feel like I've wanted to make North a mod for a long time, but because we haven't made him mod, because otherwise you have to try and do it from his phone, and that's going to suck. So VIP, you know, like some sort of recognition, right, as to how much I love your little Canadian face. But I feel like if I make you mod right now, you're going to time out Oz for 1 second, and then Oz is going to time you out. It's a liability, right? I'm just deliberately creating a situation, you know? Just creating drama, right? Salty, how are you doing, Sliver? I definitely take him out. Yeah, right, exactly. So, yeah, no, it's not going to happen. Hello, Sliver. So, anyway, so we hung out, we waited for the family to fuck off, and eventually they did. And then we went upstairs to the Veil exhibit, where the ghost had already let me know that that's where he was going to be, but that hadn't clicked in my mind. Oh, because he was going, mommy, 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 mommy. So I was handling our child. Okay, as you were. I thought it was because of, what happened? I thought it was because of the deleters thing. That's funny. So we go upstairs and looking around at the at everything, looking at all the very tiny things, and the exhibit's like in the middle of the room, like off to one side, so you come up the stairs and then you walk around it like that. So from a bird's eye view, the exhibit's here, you come up the stairs and then you walk around it like that, and then you go out the exit in like a C shape, right? And by the time we got about halfway around it, everyone else, like when we first got up to the top of the stairs, there were still people looking, including that fucking bullshit family. They were around the other side of the exhibit, so we could only see them like across the perspex, across all the tiny little villages, right? And by the time we got about halfway around, everyone had gone. So me and Void were the only two people in the room. I think the operators had gone as well, actually. The train operators who were in the middle of the room, like underneath the exhibit. I think they'd gone too. So we were the only two people in the room. Now, around the entire museum, there's these little like panels on the wall, and the guy who like signed us in at the beginning, he gave us these little handheld devices that you press a button and you wave it in front of these panels, and then there's a little speaker on the wall and it tells you a little bit about the exhibit, so you get like a tour as you go around the place. We actually decided that we weren't going to use them. I mean, turns out we probably couldn't have used them because we wouldn't have been able to fucking hear it. Sorry, it's not the panel that talks, it's the little handheld device. So you press the button and you wave it in front of the thing, and then you hold it to your ear and it tells you stuff about the exhibit. We didn't use them and we accidentally stole them. Yeah, or nearly accidentally stole them, because we just put them in our pockets and just walked around the exhibit. We got to the end and I was like, oh shit, I need to give you this back. We nearly left with them. So there's these they're just little panels, probably the size of like light switches, right? And they're all around the museum. So we're walking through, and I was taking videos and pictures, and so was Void. And Void had gone on ahead of me. So I'm halfway around, and Void had gone all the way around the other side. We could still talk to each other because there was no one else up there, so we could hear each other like down the corridor. And we're taking pictures and stuff, like as you do. And Danny, hello my lovely, how are you doing? The gang's all here, right? I'm pretty sure the gang's all here. How you doing, Danny? Haven't seen you in a long while. I hope you've been holding up okay. And then I guess like Void had like realised that I was like way far behind. And so he like came back, and we didn't realise, but we just happened to be standing with one of these panels on the wall in between us, and we were just talking, and then suddenly this thing just fell off the wall and landed on the floor, and it happened right in front of me. So I like jumped away from it because I didn't know what it was, because I wasn't looking at it, and this thing is like the same height as like your knees, so it wasn't in my line of sight. So something just like, and so I jumped back and then realised that this thing had fallen off of the wall. I realise this is off topic, but if I like this place, I'm going to look at... Oh, have you moved already? Nice. Shakti, holy shit. All the old faces are back. How are you doing? Yeah, so I jumped away from it, and I was like, what the fuck? How did that fall off the wall? We were just talking to each other. We didn't touch it, didn't even know it was there. So Void picked it up and like stuck it back to the wall, and as soon as he stepped away from it, this thing fucking launched itself off of the... It didn't fall. It got slapped off the wall. It fell with such a force that when it hit the floor, it broke into 3 different pieces. This thing on the wall it had like 2 shells that came apart, and all of the innards fell out of it onto the floor. I mean, it didn't fall. It got fucking slammed off the wall like that. And when it fell off the wall the first time, Void looked at me and he was like, are you going to pick that up? Because it was nearest to me, and he was like, are you going to pick that up? And I was like, no, I'm not going to pick it up. Now, we talked about this like once we got home, like later that night, and I was like, so I didn't pick it up off the floor. And yeah, right, I went, no. No. And we both agreed that that was very out of character, because if you're in like someone else's house, or you're in a place that's not your own home, right? So you're in a public place or something, and something lands on the floor and it breaks. What's the first thing that most people would do? Is you'd like, oh shit, like pick it up and quick put it back, quick put it back before anyone thinks that it was me that broke it, even though you didn't. It just fell off in front of you, right? You try and sort of fix it, but. And I'm definitely one of those people. I'm like, oh shit, quick, pick it up. But it wasn't that I was just like, nah, just leave it. I was like, no, do not pick it up. But Void, I guess, missed that the first time. And I didn't really understand where it came from. Honestly, now I know I was channeling this dude that had done it. I was you got told off, right? But you were like, no, quick, pick it up. So Void came forward and he picked it up, and as soon as he stepped away from it, it just fucking launched itself off of the wall, and then it broke when it landed on the floor. I mean, it was like, what, 2 foot off the floor? Not even. It wasn't high enough a drop for it to break. Didn't break the first time. But it fucking broke into 3 different pieces. And then Void looked at me again. He was like, something like, so now you're going to pick it up. And I was like, no. And now I realise, which I didn't realise at the time, that the spirit that was doing all of this wanted to be acknowledged. He wanted to be noticed. He wanted to be acknowledged that he was the one that did that. And it wasn't that he wanted to take the credit for breaking something. It was just that he wanted us to know that he was there. And by picking it up and putting it back, we weren't acknowledging that he was there. We weren't acknowledging that it was a paranormal thing. We were just like, oh, it fell on the floor. Okay, let's pick it back up. And then that was the end of it, right? And he wanted us to know that he was there. So that's why he slapped it down off the wall then. Because Void put it back and he just slapped it down off the wall. It's like, no, I'm here, acknowledge me, right? So Void, I guess at the time, I picked up on that there's something paranormal going on here, but I wasn't sure what. I don't think Void had picked up on that at that point, right? And so he put it back together and then put it back on the wall, and then it sat there. But I think at that point I was just staring at it like, there's something afoot, there's something off here. Void then walked back around the corner, like left me sort of in that bit of corridor by myself, and I went back to the exhibit. I started looking around, but my mind was still like on this thing that happened. It shook me a little bit, if I'm honest, and my eyes immediately fell in this whole... I was standing in front of a whole village, and the one thing that my eyes fell on was a church, and it was right in the back, and there was nothing really special about it. There was nothing that really, looking at it like psychologically, would have brought like drawn my eye to it. but I just found myself, my eyes just fell on it immediately. So I moved over to it, and I was just really looking at it. I was like really, really studying it. And I kind of got lost in that for a moment or two. I was looking through the windows, and I started to wonder. My mind started to drift. And I remember I started to wonder if the guy who built this probably went to church every Sunday, because English people, certainly people who lived in villages in the 1920s and the 1930s, which was when this model was built, would have had a very close relationship with God and with Jesus, and would have gone to church every Sunday. So I just found myself my mind just started to wander, and I started to imagine like maybe he built this church as a model, a miniature version of the one that maybe he went to, that he felt had a close relationship with that building. Spent a lot of time there. And I just started sort of daydreaming about what the priest or the father, would have been like, and what the model maker, what his relationship might have been with his priest. I don't know why. I just started my mind just wandered. And this is the thing, like when I channel and I don't realise that I'm channeling, that's how it happens. My mind wanders and I start thinking about something just really abstract, and then I catch myself. I'm like, why am I thinking about this? And it's actually because they're not my thoughts at all. That's exactly what happened then. I caught myself. I was like, oh, why am I thinking about this? I'm getting like really deep into this model village. It's just a model of a church. It's nothing more than that, right? Dismissed the thought entirely. And then I thought, I can still feel something in this corridor. So I pulled my phone out of my pocket with the app on it that pulls up words, right? We've used it before here on this channel. So I pulled open the app and I hit the go button, and the one and only word that I got out of I only had it on for maybe 5 minutes, it was no more than that, was the word father. And I had just moved away from the church when it said that. So I don't know what it means. I know what that means. It was, the father, like the priest, right? The church, the father. But I don't know what it means in the grand scheme of things, like why the spirit wanted me to know about that. I think that was just his little acknowledgement that he and I were both thinking the same thing, or that I had picked up on his energy. So I put the app away because Luna, hey lovely, what the fuck is going on? How are you doing? Literally, like the gang is all here. Like everyone's here. I think Misty is the only one who isn't here. That's crazy. I haven't seen you guys in so long, and like you're all here at the same time. It's because I'm talking about ghosts, isn't it? I just sent something through the ether. And you guys were like, she's talking about ghosts. Quick, let's get over there. Watch Misty arrive in a bit. Yeah, exactly. Crazy. How are you doing, my love? We in here? Yeah. Oh, bless you, Luna. I hope it's going smoothly for you, my love. Ether senses were tingling. Yeah, exactly. Has anyone met the entity that's behind Christianity and Jesus Christ in the astral plane? I heard he's not exactly a nice guy. Can't say that I have, no. I mean, that doesn't surprise me, really, because the Christianity ironically, is the fucking devil. But yeah, so then I closed the app down because it tends to make my phone really, really hot. So I closed it out, and I wanted to keep taking pictures of this model village anyway, so I moved on, and I just sort of dismissed it all and I moved on. And then I heard a gunshot from down the corridor. Now it sounded like and there's no one there. It was only me and Void, and Void was that way, and I heard the gunshot from that way, from down the corridor, like around the corner where I'd just come from. Now, it didn't sound like a gunshot. It sounded like a recorded gunshot. You know how kids' toy guns have like fake gun sounds, like recorded sounds? It sounded like that. It sounded like it was like a ch-ch sound, like a gunshot, like the ch-ch, right? Like loading the barrel and then the sound. That's what it sounded like, but it sounded like a kid's recorded version of one, right? And it came from down the corridor, and as soon as I heard it, it was unmistakable. It was absolutely what I heard. So I went round the corner, of course, like to follow the sound, and that's all I heard. It was just that, and then it stopped. And I went round the corner, and there's no one there. There's nothing there. There's no little speakers on the walls. There's nothing. There was nothing round there that could have made that sound. And yeah, I heard that fucking noise, and I still don't know what it means, what it was for, where it came from. But there was no one there. There was no speakers or anything around there. It didn't come from the exhibit because it was all behind glass. It came from down the fucking corridor. I don't know. I mean, the village, it's like the village that it was depicting, right? The model. You know, certainly, I mean, even now, farmers and, you know, because they were all villages where it's just full of farmers, and everyone has, even now, they all have shotguns, because it's just what it's like in the English countryside. Everyone has a shotgun. I don't have a shotgun because I'm not a farmer, but most houses around here, like where I live, I live in a little village. Everyone has shotguns. I hear shotguns going off all the time out there, and it's, you know, it's farmers. They all have shotguns. It's just a normal thing. And certainly back in the 1920s and 1930s, which was when this village not only was built, this model was built, but it was depicted, you know, of like these villages at the same time frame. So my point being, it wasn't like a model village that was built to look like it was back in the 1920s. It was built in the 20s and 30s of the 1920s and 30s. There would have been way more guns around then than there are now. Could you ask Aurora? I guess it doesn't work like that. I didn't think to ask her, really. I don't really bother her with like mundane stuff like that. And to be honest, she's not really been around all that much. She's taken a step back, and I have a new guide now, who I haven't really been formally introduced to, so I'm certainly not going to introduce them to you guys now. Please don't take offence by that, but if I haven't met them formally, then I shouldn't be introducing them to other people. But she's sort of taken a step back now, so she's not around as much. I have her working in tandem with, because she's doing like a handover at the moment. It's mundane in that it's not part of my work. It is what I classify as being mundane because it was just an experience for me. It's inconsequential because it's not part of my work. This spirit wasn't asking to be moved on. He wasn't in distress. He was just he was the model maker. He just wanted to be acknowledged. He was just hanging around because this was his life's work, and there was nothing miserable or distressed or untoward about this energy at all. He was just sort of chilling, hanging out with his creation. That's all. I wonder how Andy is doing. Yeah, Andy. We all love your guide so much. We love Andy. It's like, dude. Yeah, it was kind of calm, wasn't it? Yeah. He kind of had the same energy as the guy that checked us in, the guy who worked in the museum. Same kind of energy, didn't he? Really, because that guy just kept popping up every now and then and would just tell us stuff about the exhibit and then would leave. He was like a really, really nice guy, really knowledgeable, and obviously very passionate about the whole place, and had the same sort of energy. It was just sort of like this guy was just sort of hanging around his creation, just like enjoying that people were enjoying it, you know. It was a nice energy. It was kind of nice. Nothing untoward about it at all. When I feel like there's any kind of distress, then I go into work mode and I'm like, right, what do you need? What can I do for you? And what do you need? And usually they need to be moved on because it's just what is right for them, and I don't know how to do it. But this spirit didn't feel that need at all. He was quite happy to be earthbound, and I'm not going to move on a spirit unless they're, well, I can't move a spirit on unless they're ready. And they're ready when they're in distress because they need something, they need a lifeline, and at that point it's time for them to move on. But this guy was he was perfectly happy to just be, he didn't want to go, he wanted to be there, you know, he was very happy to be there, and he was choosing to be earthbound and to be with his creation. So I mean, he'd probably only been gone about 50 years, you know, that's not really that long for a spirit. You know, I imagine that if at any point the museum closed and his work got destroyed, then he'd be ready to move on because he'd be very distressed and unhappy that his life's work wasn't being taken care of. But and then he'd be ready to go, and then my work would be valid in that point, but it wasn't. So that's why I say it's mundane, because it was just a guy just sort of, I was enjoying his work, so was Void. He just showed up just like, hey, I'm here, you know. And because I'm sensitive, I picked up on his energy the moment I stepped over the threshold, literally. But I didn't realise that that's what I was picking up on, because it's a museum, there's a lot of residual energy, and I usually pick up on that anyway. And sometimes I can't tell if it's residual or active until I've actually interacted with it, and then I can see what it is. But yeah, I mean, this dude's I'd say as well the fact that he was able to physically manipulate stuff. He did that with my spoon. This often happens before I visit a location that's active. I connect to the energy beforehand. So it wasn't really that he was here and he moved my spoon, but the energy had started to build up momentum, and that was like a side effect of it, was that my spoon got moved a couple of days beforehand. I'd say I feel that he doesn't get acknowledged very often, and doesn't really doesn't have many people like me show up in his vicinity to interact with, or interacts with people probably all the time, but they don't interact back because they're not aware that he's even there, whereas I was aware. So I feel that that's why he was able to physically manipulate objects, because he has a lot of energy built up, that like stored, that he hasn't used because he knows there's no point, because people can't see him. People don't know he's there, they can't hear him or whatever. Yeah, definitely North. Yeah, I did actually say that when Void and I were leaving. I was like, oh, the guys are gonna fucking love this. We have to bring them here. Yeah, for sure. Do spirits know that they're a spirit, or does it depend? Yeah, it depends. I'd say that this guy knew. He was very centered in himself. In hindsight, he wasn't. Because as soon as I acknowledged that he was there, and I started talking to him, then I was just like, hey, I really appreciate what you built here, and you must love the fact that people are now, after you've gone, they're continuing your work, and they're very passionate about it, and it's very well looked after and cared for, and it's going to continue. This is your legacy, and it's going to continue. And he left. That was all he really wanted to say, or to have. That was the only conversation he wanted to have. He didn't want anything from me, and he just wanted to say hi. Really, this is really what it came down to. And so that was it. That was the end of that. But yeah, spirits. Most of the spirits that I have encountered have not been aware that they are spirits, that they've died, and that's because they have either the circumstances of their death, or traumatic things that happened during their lifetime that they just never got over. So when they die, they get stuck in that. That's been the focus. You know, for example, like, let's say someone, let's just take me, for example, right? Let's say that I'm not as well centered and balanced as I am, right? So let's say that my dad died, right? That was very traumatic for me at the time, but I wouldn't say I'm over his death, but I'm over the things that happened surrounding his death, that happened after his death, that really severely traumatized me at the time. Let's say I didn't get over that. For the rest of my life, I would be constantly... Thank you, Oz, for gifting a sub to Luna. Thank you, my lovely. I super appreciate that. Welcome back, Luna. So for the rest of my life, as is what most of the time happens for people who have been traumatized by something that's some sort of life event, and they don't get over it, you end up stuck in that, right? So I would constantly be saying to people, I would fuck up something, or I would behave in an adverse way, and then I would say, oh no, I'm only doing this because I'm only like this because of this thing that happened to me, right? I would be using it constantly as an excuse for a reason why I'm, you know, the way that I am, which would be something negative, like I am something negative, or I'm behaving in a very negative way, and so I would always attribute it to that event. Oz is the boss. Yeah, right. How many? 354? Oh. Thank you, Oz, for gifting a sub to Reigns. 355 subs. Holy fucking shit. A common symptom of trauma is being frozen in your development, physically, mentally, and spiritually. Right? Exactly right. You get stuck in time. You get stuck in time, but time is still moving around you, moving on around you, without you, because you are in a physical existence, right? That's yeah, very, very well put. Yeah, thank you, Salty. So I'd still be stuck in that window of time. I'd still be making excuses for the way that I am. I wouldn't have actually moved on from it because I'm stuck in that period of time. I'd still be, you know, 30 years later, I'd still be upset and crying about it and feeling fearful of it and feeling the trauma that I experienced in the moment. It won't let up. It won't ease off, you know, because that's how you get over things, is you let time pass, you feel better about it. But if you don't get over it, time passes and you don't feel better about it, and you stay stuck in it, right? Then I die. Well, I'm still stuck in that trauma, aren't I? So I'm not going to move on, I'm not going to go home, I'm just going to be completely enveloped. But now I'm not in a physical state. I've got nothing around me physically to anchor me away from that event. Now I'm energetically connected to that event. I'm just going to basically become insane because there's nothing to anchor me, right? I don't have a body anymore that tells me. If my body is older than how my body was when I was experiencing that trauma, then that's an anchor, because I can look down at my body and I can see that my body has aged. I can look in a mirror and see my body has aged. That gives me the anchor that time has passed. Yes? Also, there's different people going on. Physically speaking, I'm not experiencing that trauma anymore. That's an anchor. That tells me the trauma has ceased. But if I don't have a body, if I'm not anchored to the physical reality anymore, because I don't have a body anymore, because that body has died and I've been hence released from it, then I'm going to emotionally and energetically, I'm going to go back to that trauma. I'm going to get stuck in that trauma. So I'm going to forget that I died. I'm going to forget about everything that happened in my life after the trauma. I'm just going to be reliving the trauma over and over and over and over and over until another me, you know, another person like me who can speak to spirits can release me from it. But even then, you know, I might not even see that person. That person might pick up on me being there, as a, like, I'm a spirit now, right? So now someone else comes in and can see me and knows that I'm there, and knows that I'm stuck in some sort of trauma. If I'm not ready to move on, if I'm not ready to let go, if I haven't reached my breaking point, then I won't be aware that they are there. And that person might mistake me for being residual energy, when really I'm active, I'm just unaware. So there's different levels, I think, of consciousness when it comes to spirits. Hey Riley, how are you doing, my love? Good to see you. How are you doing? So yeah, you know, there's definitely different levels of awareness, you know. Yeah, Danny, missed your little face. Yeah, that's why I'm very careful to sort of label things as being active or residual, because residual energy will be the same every time it displays itself. It will be the same every single time, because it's residual. If it's active, it will be different. If it's active and aware, it will be tailored to you, because they're trying to get your attention. So they're going to watch you, they're going to study you, and they're going to see what you respond to and what you don't. And what you do respond to, they'll keep doing more of that. What you don't respond to, that will change. So aware active energy will be different every time. Whereas unaware, let's say, unaware active energy will not be exactly the same every time like residual energy is. But it is a person that's stuck on repeat. So you'll see the same cluster of things happening, but all in different orders. So it will be different each time to how it was the last time, but it will be the same cluster of behaviour. Whereas residual energy is not a cluster of behaviour, it's just one thing that's going over and over and over. So, for example, residual energy could be a spirit, like an apparition, moving from one end of a corridor to the other, and will only happen at a certain time, on a certain time of the month, let's say, caught in a lunar cycle perhaps. Residual energy is kicked up when the event, so the event in this particular example is a woman, let's say, walking from one end of a corridor to the other. When she originally did that, when she was living and she walked from one end of the corridor to the other, the stars were aligned in a certain way. It was either day or it was nighttime. The moon was in a particular lunar cycle. There was a particular energy going on at the time of that being imprinted into the timber and the brick, you know, of that corridor. When the energy and everything, when everything is exactly the same as it was when she moved through the corridor, then we see her walk through the corridor, because everything is the same. The moon is in the same phase, the stars are aligned in the same way, the energy is the same. Maybe what prompted her to move from one end of the corridor to the other was a child crying, let's say. Her child was crying at the other end of the corridor, so she moved. So when a child cries in that corridor from that end of the corridor, the circumstances are exactly the same. So then the residual energy repeats itself, and it does the same thing. It always moves this way. It never goes this way. It never comes through and stops, disappears. Always walks this way, right? This is residual energy, so we see the behaviour is always the same. And if we pay very close attention, we can see what the circumstances are that triggers it to even happen. So in this example, it's a child crying, right? Whereas unaware active energy might be she walks halfway down the corridor, turns around and goes back. Or she walks through and then she walks back again. Or she walks through. So it's a cluster of behaviour. But active energy is obviously it's going to be different every time. It could be something walking through, it could be knocking on the wall, it could be appearing in the middle of the corridor and then disappearing. It could be a picture falling off the wall, a mirror being broken that's in that corridor. It could be hearing sounds. It's going to be something different every single time. It's never going to repeat the same behaviour. So whenever I come across energy that seems to be repeating itself, I look to see what it is actually that's repeating, and is it certain things that trigger it? Is it maybe I spray a vanilla smell into a corridor because it's like air freshener or something? Maybe that's the trigger. Every time I spray it, I hear this sound. Or every time I say certain words, maybe I say woman in white or something. Maybe I just said it randomly one day, and then I see an apparition of a woman in white, and then I see her, but never see her again. But then when I say woman in white, then I see her. You know, so it's establishing what the trigger is that makes the residual come up, and then when I've established what that trigger is, does the is this so-called residual energy, is it different each time? This is why I like ghost hunting. Because I like to find an active area and then sit and experiment with it. Also, residual energy will not answer you, it's not aware of you, it's not living, it's not aware, it's not a spirit. It's just energy that's stored in the location. That's all it is. It's not sentient, it's not a ghost. It's just an echo. So if you think that something is, that maybe you have like a room in your house or something that you might think that you think that it might be active, start experimenting with it. Maybe get one of these apps on your phone like I have, where it gives you a dictionary and it lets you, so you can talk, and then it can answer you. If it's not answering you, if you're getting an EMF reader out and it's not answering you, it's probably residual. It's like a watermark, it's like a stain. Yeah, exactly. So I know I said that we were going to do readings today, and I know that some of you have redeemed some cards and stuff. But it's funny, Riley's just said today's not the day. Yes, today's not the day. Because I'm going to go and get some food in a minute. I'm seriously hungry now. And I said an hour ago, I was like, let me just finish up the hour, and it's been an hour. When I said that, it was going to be like 10-15 minutes. But now it's actually been an hour. So I'm like hella hungry now. Speaking of letting go, I'm letting her go. We started talking and even video chatted once and sounded like we were getting back on track. She talked to her BF, said it'd be a slow process with me, but progress nonetheless. Then the next day blocked me on everything, so I'm done. Yeah, good for you, Riley. Good for you. I mean, you knew this, didn't you? I think you just needed your closure, and in fact you said that to me. You just want some closure, so sounds like you've got it now, and good for you. People come and go. The only thing that's a constant is you. So be whole and complete in yourself. People can come and go. It's not going to bother you, because you're just gonna be aware. This is just what happens, right? This is just how things go. A lesson in life. Yeah, exactly. You know, she's done her job, right? You know, I mean, my best friend from school, we were friends for 20 years. We're not friends anymore. We just sort of grew apart. We grew apart, and then I realised, shit, we're growing apart, and just anything that I tried, you know, I actually had a conversation with her, and I was like, you've changed, you've become a bit of a dick, really, and, you know, my dad died, you weren't there for me, I've seen you twice in the space of a year when we used to see each other every single day. For 20 years we saw each other every single day, I shit you not. But we just grew apart, like what we were meant to be for each other just ended. It's just the way it was. You know, I still feel a bit sad about it, but I don't feel sad enough to go and sort of put it right, because I know that I can't put it right because it's just ended. That's just it now, you know. And I'm very grateful for the friendship, and I still love her very much, and I want her to succeed in life, and I want her to be happy, but we're just on different paths now. We've outgrown each other, you know. And if we were friends, it just wouldn't be right. You know, if we were friends now, we wouldn't satisfy each other, you know, in the way that we used to, because we're just not meant to be anymore, you know. Mr. Mystical, thank you so much for the follow, my lovely. I super appreciate that. Thank you, my love. Welcome. Damn, that's deep. Yeah, well, you know, it's truth. It's just truth. That's why when people start to drift away, you just let them. Just let them. I mean, fair enough. You know, fight for things because you fucked something up and you made a mistake and you're growing apart because you were a dickhead. You know, then that's fine. You made a mistake. But there's a difference between fucking something up and then just doesn't work anymore. There's a big difference between those two things, and learning to spot that is a skill that comes with experience. It must have been difficult to get used to the change. Yeah, it was fucking gut-wrenching. It was horrible. She was my soulmate. But, you know, even soulmates aren't destined to be around each other forever. I cut off most of my friends because they couldn't match my energy. Yeah, right, and I've experienced the same thing, you know, over the last couple of years. We've all been purging. The divine masculine energy has just fucking had enough, and has been hugely purging, and it's been helped along this year with the planets that are currently in retrograde. Less so Uranus, but and Neptune less so, but we've got Pluto, Saturn and Jupiter are all retrograding right now until October. Started in the middle of this year, started from May-ish through till October, and those three planets between them are helping us to overhaul everything that doesn't work for us anymore. We're just purging it out. I mean, it's working in smaller ways as well, where we're literally raking through the physical bullshit that we have in our lives, you know, like this, like what is this? Why am I keeping this? I should just fucking throw this away. And we're throwing stuff away, or I'm not going to throw this away because I put my makeup on with it, but you know what I mean. Like we're literally throwing things out, stuff and things that we've collected over, you know, the course of our lives, that's just filling up space in our houses, and we don't fucking need it anymore. We're like, why am I holding on to this? We're just throwing it away. We're doing it this year. Do you ever miss the old version of yourself before a particular event happened? Never. I love myself. I love who I am now. I'm going to love who I am tomorrow, and I'll be a different version of myself tomorrow than I am today, because we're constantly growing and evolving and leveling up. And who I was before a particular event is not the version of myself that's going to serve me now in the life that I'm living now. If I'm constantly moving towards a goal that I have in life, the old version of me is not going to get me there, but the me that I am now is going to get me there, and the me that I'm going to be is going to continue to get me there. And when I get there, that version of myself is the version of myself that deserves to have what I have. If the old version of me is delivered on a silver platter, the goal that I have in life, I'm going to squander it and I'm going to throw it away, because that old version of me is not ready for my goal. We have to change and we have to evolve to have the things that we want. Otherwise, you'd have it now. Everything that you have now is what the version of you that you are now deserves to have. Because life is a mirror. The physical reality is a mirror to what you are on the inside. So if you are dissatisfied with your life right now, it's because you are dissatisfied with the person that you are right now. And that's not an attack on your character, because your character is, you know, is your personality, is what makes you you. But the way that you interact with the world, the way that you feel about yourself, and the way that you feel about your life is being reflected back to you. Therefore, if you're unhappy and there's not balance in your physical life, that's because there is imbalance within you. You fix that balance. You rebalance yourself. You establish and maintain a balance within yourself. You become happy within yourself. Your outer reality is going to reflect that back to you and will become something that's more to your liking, that suits you better, because you've leveled up. Your reality has no choice but to level up with you. So if you ever feel dissatisfied with your outer world, look inside and see what's wrong in there. This is how I manifest actively every day. This is level up noise, right? Like Mario eating the mushroom. You know, this is how I've come to understand manifestation. And this is why, personally, right now, you know, I'm very happy with myself. I love myself. I accept myself. I accept my flaws, but I work on my flaws. I don't just accept them and go, oh yeah, that's just a thing. Oh, you know, don't mind my awful, toxic, fucking behaviour. That's just the way that I am. No, I don't accept that with myself. I have my own balance and my own standards within myself. I take responsibility for my own bullshit and I fix it. And because of that, I'm constantly leveling up, and so is my reality. I can't level up and my reality stay the same. It just doesn't work like that. My reality is always going to level up with me. And so you can look at your reality and you can see what's right about it, and what's right about your reality is what's right about you. So these things you don't need to change. But the things that you're unhappy with, maybe you're unhappy in your job, for example. That's a big one, right? That most people can relate to. You're unhappy in your job. Well, you're unhappy in your job for what reason, right? Is because maybe people walk all over you. They don't respect the authority that you have in the management role that you retain, for example. Well, that's because, you know, there's something within you. You let people walk all over you, right? So, you know, so from looking at that outside of yourself, then you can see within yourself, you don't have boundaries. So then you can work on those boundaries, and then what's going to naturally happen without you even trying, just from looking at what's going on within you and then putting that right, people suddenly in your job, in your waking life, you know, in your physical life, people start just giving you a bit more respect. They don't walk all over you. They don't tell you to fuck yourself when you tell them to go off and get something done, you know, because that's your job, to tell people what to do, right? They don't give you the finger. They're just like, oh, yep, and they go and get it done. That's because that's an example. It's a very crude one, but, you know, nonetheless, it's an example of how things outside of you are going to level up with you. Hey Abby, how are you doing, my lovely? Good to see you, my love. Hello Oreo, how are you doing? So yeah, you know, this is how I, personally, this is how I conduct myself, and this is how I'm constantly leveling things up, and this is how I keep track of what I'm doing, of how I'm doing in here, is I look at the reflection. Because sometimes you can look at yourself and you can go, there's nothing wrong here. I'm perfect just the way that I am, right? And I'm not trying to sound like a cunt here, but no one's perfect, okay? There's always work to be done. Yeah, you could be you could be the holy Buddha himself, you know, but there's still work to do. There's still you know, things that you could work on. There's still things that could be leveled up, and the only way to figure out what those things are is by looking at what's outside of you, and whatever's wrong outside of you is what's wrong inside of you. And so, you know, this is how I keep track of what needs to be done for me. And I can only take responsibility for my own actions. I can't take responsibility for other people. Same happen, you know, with everyone. You can only be responsible for yourself. You can't be responsible for other people. So what other people are doing is really neither here nor there. That's their own business. That's not your business. So, you know, spend your energy on you. Don't spend your energy on other people. Other people will just sort of naturally flock to you because of whatever energy that you're holding. If you're attracting toxic people, it's because you're displaying toxic behavior, because there's something inside you that's toxic. So as soon as you clear out that toxicity, then you know, you'll start drawing, you know, look at the people around you, right? Are the people around you decent, kind, compassionate people? If they are, then that's what you are, because you are who you associate with. How do you clear out toxicity, residual energy? I mean, you could ritualize it, right? You could do it through full moon and new moon rituals. That's what I personally do. I mean, I used to be a real toxic fucking asshole. I used to be an absolute fucking shit cunt. I was a horrible, awful person. And now I'm not. I'm pleased to say that now I'm not, and that's because I worked on myself, and the way personally that I work on myself, and I continue to work on myself. See, the thing is, I went through a very traumatizing experience about almost 4 years ago now, and that was my wake-up call. I started doing these exercises that I'll explain in a moment as a way to help me through my depression and my anxiety that came with I'm still a bit of a cunt, but not toxic. I think we all have a little bit of cuntiness in us. You know, but we're not toxic with it, you know, which is good. It's good. So I was very very depressed. I was suicidal. I was very, very anxious, and I just couldn't, I just didn't have my shit together at all. And it was because of this series of events and traumatizing experiences that I had. So I started doing certain things every single day. I was very, very disciplined with it as a way to put myself back together again. That was a very profound and deep journey that I experienced, putting myself back together again. And not only did I put myself back together again, but I created a new and improved version of Alice, which is the version that you see before you now. And this was also, you know, the birth of the Cosmos Collective, and our hashtag Elevate Everyone came about through my exercises with myself. There we go. See, the Twitch channel, the community, the Cosmos Collective leveled up with me. Now I'm surrounded by decent, beautiful, compassionate people like yourselves, when I wasn't beforehand, because I was a toxic fucking cunt. The road to improvement and realisation is a long road, always work to be done on oneself. Exactly right, very well said, yes. Scarlett, hello my lovely, how are you doing? How are you today? So, the things I started doing every day to put myself back together again, I continued to do, and I still do them to this day. I did them this morning. So even though I've put myself back together again, and I don't need those things that I'm about to tell you, I use these exercises now just to keep me in check, right? I use these exercises to help me to understand myself, help me to love myself, help me to love my life every day. So they started as a way to help to alleviate my depression and my suicidal tendencies and energy and attitude. But I continued to do them because I recognized that actually what it does is it constantly cleans out the toxicity and the negativity that I may pick up. We pick up toxicity and negativity every single day. Again, you could be the Holy Buddha himself, but because you're rubbing shoulders with certain people and you're experiencing certain things, you're exposing yourself to certain things, the internet itself is just toxic mess. You know, we're exposed to just life every day, and we're picking up negativity all the time. So even if you're the most compassionate, the most wonderful, kind, caring, put together, balanced person on the planet, you're still going to pick up negativity. And if you don't clear it out, you're going to succumb to it. You're going to become it. That's just the nature of energy, right? So I've recognized that through continuing these exercises every day, it keeps me balanced and it keeps me on track, keeps me aware of what's going on inside myself. So these things that I do every day are: when I wake up in the morning, I do not speak until I have left the house. I don't say a word. Void will tell you, right? I live with Void. He will tell you that he can say hi to me in the morning and I'll give him a nod and I'll walk past him, right? I might just be like, hi, morning, but I do not have a conversation with him, because when you first wake up in the morning, you don't know how you feel. You don't know what mood you're in. Now, if you really think about this, right, you'll absolutely know what I'm talking about. You don't know what mood you're in the morning until you start interacting with somebody else, yes? So I make it my responsibility to put myself into a balanced, compassionate, kind, loving, beautiful, you know, the mood that I'm in now, right? This is not really a mood that you're seeing in me now. This isn't really a mood. This is just Alice. This is just who I am. This is the balanced version of me, right? When you first wake up in the morning, you are not a balanced version of yourself. Sylvie, thank you for the follow, my lovely. I super appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. When you first wake up in the morning, you are groggy because you've just woken up. I'm very much a morning person, but that's only because of this exercise, right? So I do not talk to anyone because I know that I need to have a conversation with myself and put myself into the right frame of mind before I start interacting with other people. Now, Void can also vouch for this because we live together. If I don't do this and I just sit and have a conversation with him, thank you, Oreo, for the follow, my lovely. I super appreciate you. Thank you. If I just sit and have a conversation with him before I've even really woken up, I will be moody. I will be negative. He'll ask me, so what are you going to do today? And I'm going to go, oh, I don't really feel like doing anything. It's because I've been awake for 30 seconds and I haven't had a chance to put myself into a balanced state. I'll be humpy dumpies. Right, exactly. I'll be well humpy. So that's why I've recognised that this is a thing that happens every single morning. So now I do not have a conversation with anyone. I do not pick up my phone. I do not send messages to people. I don't even read messages. Oh, that's nice. We're listening to a bit of ASMR now. So what I do is this. I get up. I go to the bathroom because normally been asleep for 8 hours, need a wee, right? So go to the bathroom and then I come back into my room and I put clothes on and I go outside immediately. I do that every single morning. I do not deviate from that. I don't, oh, I'm just going to put some washing on quick, or, oh, I'm just going to check my phone messages. Or no, I'm very disciplined with that. Go to the bathroom, put clothes on, go outside. And I go outside, and then the first words that I say are, I feel blank. I feel this. I feel that. I feel the other. And I say it out loud. The reason I say things out loud, I actually talk to myself, is because when you think, when you're having thoughts, your ego can't hear that. Your ego and you are two different things. Your ego is the human part of your brain, the bit that picks up and learns from experiences, the bit that centered in it's rooted in the fear center of your brain. So your ego is the thing that literally keeps your body alive. And unfortunately, you know, it has a voice, and it's basically has the mentality of a very angry toddler. And it's your ego that's the voice in your head that tells you, oh, you're such a piece of shit. You're never going to amount to anything. You don't deserve anything good happening in your life. You deserve everything that's terrible in your life. You deserve it because you're an absolute fucking piece of shit. Your ego is the voice that says that. That's not you. That's your ego. And your ego is an AI, basically. So when you're having thoughts that's not your ego, you're having thoughts like, I wonder what it would be like to be a fish, right? When you're having thoughts like that, that's not your ego, that's you, right? Because you're exploring things and you're creating things, or you're thinking, or you're looking at a room and you're going to redecorate and you're like, I wonder what it would look like if it was like a light blue colour or something, right? That's you, that's not your ego, right? So whether you can tell the difference between these thoughts or not is really neither here nor there. But just to understand that those thoughts that are you, your ego can't hear them. You can't hear. There's like two different pockets of your brain that are having thoughts, right? But when your ego is thinking stuff, you can hear it. you can hear that. But your ego can't hear you. So it's your responsibility to be a good parent to your ego. So this is why I talk out loud, because you make sound with your words, and then that sound goes back into, it comes out of your body and then it goes back into your body, right, through your ears, and your ego can hear that. So this is why I talk out loud, because then my ego can hear it. So I say, I feel. I don't say anything else. I don't start off on a tangent like, I feel sad. That person yesterday really fucked me off when they told me that my hair looks shit, right? Do not deviate from it at all. Your sentences are, I feel sad. I feel tired. I feel well rested. I feel positive. I feel ready for the day. I feel fat. I don't know. Like, I feel like I want to work out today. I feel numb. I feel dizzy. I feel emotional. I feel like crying. I feel whatever the hell it is that you're feeling, right? I feel this, I feel that, I feel the other. Those are the first words that come out of my mouth every single day. Every single day. And when I feel like I've run out of feelings, something very special happens, I guess. Very interesting and special. I've now got a complete understanding of how I feel. So now I know where I'm at. I know where my balance needs to be readjusted, because maybe that morning I wake up off the back of a nightmare, or I wake up off the back of having a real awful day the day before, and maybe that morning I'm saying things like, I feel less than, I feel demotivated, I feel negative, I feel like I just don't really want to do anything today, I feel sad and I feel like I just want to get back into bed, right? So now I know how I feel, I know what the problem is, and I know that to fix that is to not do those things, is to not get back into bed, but to G myself up and start telling myself what a great person I am. And you know, yeah, maybe you do feel a bit sad, but that's going to pass, right? Let's do something fun today. And you know, what are your hopes and dreams and desires, right? Let's do something to work towards that. Let's make you feel better, right? I can be a good parent to myself. I can be a good mother to myself. If I recognise how I feel. If I don't know how I feel, I'm like a loaded fucking gun in the morning, right? Because if I'm feeling all of those things but I don't realise that I am, Void is going to be like, morning, and I'm going to be like, yeah, it's not really a good morning though, is it? Like, you know, and then I've just rubbed all my negativity off on him, and then he's going to go to work and have a really shit day because he's going to be worried about me and maybe even start feeling crap about himself, right? I'm a loaded fucking gun. So it's so important to go through this exercise in the morning. I feel this, I feel that, I feel the other, right? Now, when I've done that, and I now have a well-rounded understanding as to how I feel, then I express gratitude. I'm grateful for my body. I am grateful for the sleep that I had last night. I'm grateful that I have a bed to sleep in and it's relatively comfortable. I'm grateful that I have my glasses so I can read better. I'm grateful for this beautiful day. I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful that my body is healthy. I'm grateful for my little Lotterama potato who isn't in the room with me now, but I'm grateful that this air is just so fresh and clean, and it's making me feel better. And I'm grateful for the clothes that I'm wearing. I'm grateful for the people in my life. I'm grateful for the Cosmos Collective. I'm grateful for my PC, my beautiful Evelyn, that allows me to create all the content. I'm grateful that I can create content. I'm grateful that I understand Adobe Premiere, because that shit was a trip when I first started using it. I'm grateful that I have the internet, right? I'm grateful that I have the internet, and I'm grateful for all of my experiences up until this point in my life, because I am the person that I am right now because of all of the things that I've been through. I'm grateful for the heartbreak that I've experienced, because it's taught me how to love, and it's taught me how to love myself, and it's taught me how to cope when someone leaves that I love. And I'm grateful for my friends. I'm grateful for the support that they give me. I'm grateful to love and to be loved, and I'm grateful for my dreadlocks, right? I'm grateful that I've learned to take care of them, and my head is a garden, and I love that, and I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful to have, I think I said this already, but a healthy body, and I'm grateful that I have makeup, and I'm grateful that I can apply it in such a way that it's pleasing to me when I look in the mirror at myself. And I'm grateful that I have the ability to lay down, face down in the grass right now and feel the cool earth on my face. And I'm grateful that I'm alive, and I'm grateful that I have the ability to feel alive. And I'm grateful that I'm living a human life, and I'm grateful that I have food in the cupboards, and I'm grateful. You see how easy it is to express gratitude when you love yourself. Now you take a depressed person and you ask them, what are you grateful for? And they go, nothing. I hate my life. I hate myself. I hate all the people in my life. I just want to die. Right? I laugh about it because I was there once, right? And I was saying these things once, and I couldn't find anything to be grateful for. But actually, there's so many things to be grateful for. And I could sit here and continue. I can continue. I'm grateful for a camera. I'm grateful for my halo light. I'm grateful for the plants behind me. I'm grateful for my tarot and my oracle cards, right? I'm grateful for this coaster, right? And I'm grateful these little paw prints were from my little ferret, Frankie, whose name is tattooed on me because he had that much of an impact in my life. I'm grateful for Frank. I'm grateful that I got him at six weeks old, right? And I did all of these little footprints on it. And I'm grateful for the studio, for my old business. I'm grateful for my skill as a ceramicist because I was able to make this coaster myself. And I'm grateful for my dad, who taught me how to be a good ceramicist, and I'm grateful that my dad gave me 50% of his genes, so I look the way that I do, and I have the mindset that I do because I gained that from him. Like, I can just keep fucking going. I can keep going. So this is why, right, I do these exercises in the morning. You see how it just alleviates all of that toxicity and negativity that you might have. Every morning, do not say a word. You put clothes on, you go outside. You don't talk to anyone. If anyone comes and talks to you, just go, not now, let me just wake up and I'll come back to you, right? That's all you need to say. Go outside, get some fresh air. I feel out loud, okay? I don't care who's around listening to you. Fuck them. This isn't about them. This is about you, right? This is about you being the best version of yourself and setting yourself up right for the day, right? So people are listening to you going, what a crazy person, talking about how they feel, talking to themselves. Fuck them. Shame on them if they're not doing this, right? If they're not doing this for themselves, they're not taking care of themselves, that's shame on them, right? Let them gloat, let them laugh, whatever. They're not going to have a great day like you are going to have a great day. And you're going to have a great day because you are... fuck 'em. Love yourself first. Exactly. Exactly right, right? And because you're setting yourself up right for the day, you're going to have a fucking amazing day. So I feel this, I feel that, I feel the other. And you keep going until you've kind of run out. And then I am grateful. And if you're in that kind of mindset where, you know, this is a new exercise to you perhaps, so you're not really sure what to express gratitude for, just look around you. I'm grateful for that tree right there because it looks really beautiful and I'm able to look at it right now. I'm grateful that I have my eyesight enough to be able to lay my eyes on such a beautiful tree. You know, I'm grateful for my body. I'm grateful that I woke up this morning because I quite easily could have just died in my sleep. I'm grateful that I get to experience another day being human. I'm grateful for this day. I'm grateful for this beautiful day. And then even then, if you feel like you're running out of things, think about your room that you woke up in. I'm grateful that I have a room to sleep in. I'm grateful that I have a roof over my head. I'm grateful that I have a bed to sleep in. I'm grateful for my extra pillow because it's super comfy. I'm grateful for my extra blankie because it's nice and toasty warm, you know. I'm grateful for the clothes I'm wearing. Just go for the basic stuff. You can go for the more like complicated, complex. I'm grateful for all of my experiences up until this point. You know, I'm grateful for this ex-person, whatever, who was in my life or who is in my life, who's taught me this and that and the other. I'm grateful for these lessons. Just start with the obvious stuff that you can see, right? And before you know it, you'll be like I was just then, in that state of I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that, I'm grateful for everything, I'm grateful for everything, I'm grateful for everything. And it'll just keep coming and coming and coming and coming. You won't run out of things to be grateful for. And the reason I'm at this level of gratitude is because I express gratitude every day. Love to express gratitude before bed. Yeah, absolutely. Why the fuck not? Express gratitude whilst you're eating your lunch. You know, express gratitude whilst you're filling out a spreadsheet at work. Like, I'm saying do it in the morning. I feel like it's integral to your growth and to your inner balance to do it first thing in the morning. But yeah, there's no limit, you know. Do it whenever you want. Just make sure you do it first thing in the morning. Yeah, I totally agree, Earth. Sometimes we lay down and think about the things we didn't do or still want to do. Yeah. Whereas expressing gratitude when you're about to go to sleep sets you up right for sleep as well. Morning, noon and night. Yeah, exactly. I have a handmade pocket notebook with like 20 pages front and back. I was thinking last night I could write things I'm grateful for in that and affirmations and just read to myself when I forget. Yeah, absolutely. That's a great thing to do. Yeah, because then you have that anchor, you have that visual, right? That if you fall off the wagon, you can just open that up but don't stop there, you know, continue it. Read everything that you've written down, but then continue. Also, I'm grateful for all of this stuff, right? So that is how I get rid of negativity and toxicity. That's how I do that. It doesn't matter what kind of day I'm having. You know, it doesn't matter how tired I am or how awake I am. It doesn't matter if it's snowing, hailing, raining, brilliant sunshine. I do that every single morning. Every single morning. yeah, we don't have Thanksgiving in this country. Well, America is the only country that has Thanksgiving. But yeah, I get you, yeah. That's almost like the mistake, though, is like, why do it once a year? That's absolutely insane to me. Why only be grateful once a year? Imagine, like, all the time you're wasting. Whereas if you express gratitude every day, then you're just in this state of happiness and awe of everything around you. It grows love and compassion. Magic happens when you express gratitude every day. Hello Ross, how you doing, my love? Thank you for redeeming a vibe check card, and thank you to everybody else for redeeming vibe check cards today. I'm actually not going to be doing them today. We'll probably do them tomorrow. I mean, tomorrow's GG Thursday, but we can definitely do some cards because we didn't do any today. I'm gonna start wrapping things up and go and get some food. Gonna have a Nando's. Gonna be amazing. Hello Promise, how you doing, my love? Good to see you. So we'll be, this channel will be running reruns until we're live again tomorrow. Do check out the YouTube channel. Do you still do OnlyFans? No, I don't. And actually, let's just talk about that quick before I become a weeble. Let's just talk about that quick before I leave. I am not continuing with OnlyFans. I haven't actually really told anybody this yet, but let's just officially announce it, shall we? Not doing OnlyFans anymore, no. Because the journey that I'm on with OnlyFans, I'm very grateful for, because it's really helped me to become more comfortable with my body, to love my body, and to express myself in a new way. And has also helped me with my Kundalini journey, and hopefully it's helped a lot of you with yours as well, with your body positivity and your confidence within your vessel. But I'm not going to be continuing because the content that I started posting initially was different to what I am now posting, and now it is very much not safe for work content. It's not sexual content, it's not porn, it's not pornographic at all, but it's nude photos and sort of definitely not safe for work, right? And it looks like the way that OnlyFans are sort of umming and ahhing and bullshitting people. I don't consider myself a sex worker, but some of my content may be mistaken for being sexual content and pornographic, even though that's not my intention. So I'm not going to continue with it. So I'm not going to take it down. I haven't removed any of the content. So yeah, it will stay up for a while. I'll probably leave it up maybe until the end of the year, and see what OnlyFans decides to do with it. But I'm moving to a different platform, which I'm not going to share here on Twitch, but I might share it on Discord. Honestly speaking, the content that I'm now producing is not meant for the truth seeker. It's more an outlet for me to explore my own sexuality and my own confidence in my vessel. And the end user is probably not someone who's looking for advice on Kundalini activation, for example. I'm not really interested in what the end user is, because that content it's for me. As I said, it's an outlet for me to express myself, or a certain facet of myself. So I might share it with the community, I might not. But with regards to the Kundalini activation and the body positivity and talking about, you know, things of a sexual nature, but in a very positive way. So, not to put too fine a point on it, but you know, that content isn't there to get people off, right? So that's why I'm saying it's not pornographic. It's there more as a forum for people to sort of discuss, how can I be more confident having sex with my partner with the lights on, you know, that kind of stuff. We will probably start doing sessions in Discord. I've been thinking about this for a little while. I think we'll probably put it into action very soon once I've really decided more on the finer details. Where we'll reopen the Kundalini classroom, and you know, we'll have they're basically like sex classes, you know, looking at the spiritual, but also body positivity and helping you guys to build more confidence in your sex life and having a very healthy sex life, with yourself and with your partner, or with your significant other or your whoever. So we'll probably start doing that like once a week. We'll get into a Discord call together. We'll use the new Discord feature. I forget what it's called now. Stages, I think it's called. Discord stage. Where it will be basically this format. So I have my camera on and I'll be talking, but and you guys will all be in a chat room together. So we won't be like talking to each other, but I'll be talking to you exactly like I'm talking to you now. But we'll be doing it in Discord, so it'll be private, in that it won't be open to the public, and then we know that trolls won't show up and people asking for, you know, dick ratings or whatever bullshit, because that wouldn't be the point of it. Basically, so we'll start doing that. But yes, my OnlyFans, I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to be posting any new content. No, you won't need to sub to get access to all of that stuff. You'll just need to be a member of the Discord community. So if you haven't joined already, then get your cute little tushy in there, and just keep an eye out in main chat, and that's where I post announcements and things like that. So no, you won't need to sub for that. I mean, to access to my OnlyFans, you do need to sub to that. But I'm not going to bullshit you. I'm not going to touch it. I might pop in every now and then just to see what's going on, but I'm not going to be posting any more content to it. And it will sit there for the foreseeable future. It's just going to remain like an archive. But you know, there's still lots and lots of posts and things. So if you want to, you know, go and have a look at that, then by all means go and sign up. But I won't be posting any new content, so I'm not going to lie to you and be like, oh yeah, you know, I'm not going to sit here and encourage you to sign up to it. It's there if you want to, but I'm not going to actively encourage anybody to sign up to it because I'm not posting anything. So okay, thank you, Ross. I do really appreciate that, because honestly, OnlyFans was paying my bills. So you know, that income is definitely missed, and Buffy's gonna be 2? No. Holy shit, that's crazy. Doesn't time just fucking fly? That's madness. After the stream, I'll hang out my main voice in Discord if anyone wants to chill. Okay, there you go. North will be hanging out. I'm going to be stuffing my face and becoming a weeble. But I will come and join main voice later on, once I've stopped being a weeble. And I'll show you guys the pictures and videos and stuff of the Pendon visit Pendon Museum that I was talking about earlier, the model village and stuff. I'll show you guys some pictures. I'm sure Void will share some pictures as well, because we both took a shit ton of pictures and videos and stuff. I thought OnlyFans reversed the thing about their well, they've postponed it. They haven't cancelled it. They've been lying to people. They've been blaming, namely MasterCard, saying that MasterCard have a problem with them supporting adult content. And MasterCard released an official statement saying that they're not bothered about adult content. They're just like, whatever, each to their own. And OnlyFans have basically backpedaled because they've lost, you know, a majority of their user base are people who are in the adult industry and are sex workers and are creating, you know, pornography. Now that they've, you know, they're fucking around with people's income, they're fucking around with people's vocation and their lives. And so understandably, many people, including me, have left the platform and have gone to other platforms, and you know, I think they realise that their own income has just plummeted overnight, so they've understandably have retracted you know, and sort of backpedaled a bit and been like, well, shit, you know, if we piss off all of these adult creators, then we've lost our income and our platform's just going to dive bomb. So actually, we're not going to put these new rules and regulations into place in October. We've postponed it. But the damage is already done. People's income has been severely threatened, and so understandably they've moved to other platforms. So, you know, don't blame those people whatsoever for leaving the platform. And now, you know, I would have continued with the content that I was creating, but now I feel like that's in danger, because especially as the content that I was creating, it's now developed into what could be seen as adult content. You know, like nudity and not safe for work content is sort of borderline at best. So I don't, you know, want to continue to build income there and rely on it, and it can just be taken away. That would be a very dumb thing for me to do, I feel. So I would rather move to another platform that is geared specifically towards adult content and not make adult content on there. But if I decide to, then I can, and it's not going to be threatened, and I can make a solid income there. I feel like that's a smart thing to do. One of the things you told me last time, to find a more peaceful place. I've moved to Cornwall. Oh, nice, nice. Well, I'm glad that you took the plunge, you know. I hope, you know, that you're finding it. It's obviously right for you, otherwise you wouldn't have done it. So, yeah, congratulations. I hate whatever's playing. Oh, I love crinkly sounds like this. It's crackling breakfast cereal. It's like Rice Krispies or something. Internet's a bit hit and miss, yeah, as it would be in the countryside. I have that issue here. Sounds like mushy oatmeal. Oh, just like squishing it. Yeah, like oatmeal. Or a steak being fried in a pan. Yeah, I love like crunchy, sort of crinkly sounds like that. Love it. Okay, so yeah, on that note then, go subscribe to YouTube. There's lots of content over there to enjoy, lots of readings, and of course all of our past VODs, Mystical Monday VODs and things are all over there, because they have an expiration date on Twitch, but on YouTube they last forever. So if you want more Alice, then go over to YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe. At least like 50% of people who watch my content aren't subscribed, and subscriptions really help me out. So so you know, that's massively appreciated when people sub and like videos and comment and all that stuff. You know, the Cosmos Collective is alive and well over there too, so do interact with each other over there as well. It's nice to see people having conversations and just loving on each other over there. It's lovely. So go be part of that. And all of our gameplays are over there as well. Gameplays? That didn't sound right. Let's Plays are over there. So when we play games here on Twitch, I edit the videos, make them nice and clean, and put them over there. We've got a series on Oblivion. Soma series is really good because I just shit myself constantly throughout playing that game, and the story is just incredible. I think we're on like episode 6 or something. No, we're up to episode 7, but I've released, I think episode 5 was the last one I released, so there's a couple more episodes to come your way over the next couple of weeks. So and The Long Dark we've been playing as well, and there's a full playthrough of Little Miss Fortune. There's all sorts of stuff over there. Loads of Alice dosage over there on YouTube. So go check that out. And come and join the Discord if you haven't already. And like I said, you know, I'll post, I'll make an announcement. How many times you've been editing Soma and accidentally jump scared yourself? All the time. Void sits with me whilst I edit it, because he's not around to, you know, when we're actually playing it live. And yeah, I shit myself all the fucking time. Even though I know what's coming, like there's a loud bang or there's a monster or something shows up, and I fucking crap my pants. I hate it, but I love it at the same time. Yeah. But yeah, keep an eye on the Discord as well, because I will make the announcement when the time comes that we'll reopen our Kundalini classroom. I think that'll be a really good thing to do. I'm gonna hop in Discord voice chat after this one wants to join. Yeah, right. There's a couple of you that are gonna hop into the voice chat, so by all means, don't be shy. Go and hop in there. I've said this before, but we also have a voice text channel. So I know that some of you perhaps a little bit shy and don't want to actually speak. You know, that's totally fine. You can just jump in there, mute your microphone, and then type in the voice text and have a conversation that way. Some people prefer to do it that way. That's totally fine if you want to do that. So yeah, come and join the Cosmos Collective community. Come and get involved. You know, start making some friends with some like-minded people. It's usually just bullshittery going on in the voice chat, to be honest. We're all just hanging out, shooting the breeze, playing games, and just being fucking idiots. It's great. When can I message you about the reading? Go for it. Whenever you fancy it. Granny Savage, thank you so much for the raid. Thank you, my lovely. Come in, everybody. Come on in. We're actually just ending the stream. I hate to say. We're actually just saying goodbye, like right now. Oh, the timing. Thank you so much for the raid, Granny. Everybody go and check out Granny Savage. We can raid out with you. Yeah, let's go raid somebody and pass on the love. Thank you so much for the raid. I super appreciate it. Hello everybody. I hope you guys are doing super well. Did you have a fun stream? What did you get up to? Thank you for the follow, Granny. I super appreciate that. I super appreciate that. Of course you can, Jay's Tarot. Thank you so much. I super appreciate it. Of course you can. It's very, very sweet of you to ask for permission first. And thank you for the follow. I appreciate that also. Stream was fabulous. Amazing. I'm glad you had a fun time. Yeah, everyone loves my meow me. Thank you so much for the follow. Everyone loves my Everyone loves that. Technically it's in violation of like so many different things over here on Twitch, but everyone loves it so much I haven't changed it. Lithandravia? My god, I'm probably butchering that. I'm so sorry. I butcher everyone's name over here. But thank you so much for subbing with your Prime. I super appreciate it. 2 months. One more and you get your 3-month badge. Exciting. Thank you for the follow. You guys. Oh, we're so close to a hype train. Do I always say it right? Okay, good. It does. In my head, I'm not saying it right at all. Thank you for the follows, everybody. I super appreciate your little faces. Thank you. Pure Vibes. What a beautiful name. Thank you, guys. You're so good to me. I super appreciate it. Who can we raid? Who can we raid? There's like no one. It's like no one online right now. Oh, thank you for the 10 biddies, Jays. Thank you so much. Okay, so there's ASMR Alpha. Honestly, we've never raided him before. I've only sat in a couple of his streams. I don't really get time to actually sit in people's streams, honestly. But I must have followed him for a very good reason. Because I'm very picky about who I follow. And it looks like he's doing an art stream today. He's just getting set up from the looks of things. But I think that we should go and show him some love. You know, we've got a good 20 odd people here right now. And he has like 5 people in his stream right now. So I think we should just like dive in there, you know, and show him some love. What do you think? Do you have any Virgo placements? I do. I have Virgo Moon. Leela Baby Whack. I love that name. Heck yeah, let's do this. Yes, let's do it. Let's go surprise him. Okay, so again, thank you everybody for being here. I super appreciate your faces. Love your faces. Love your faces. And I know I said this, you know, before the raid, but just for the benefit of beautiful raiders, come and join the Discord. Come and join the Cosmos Collective community where we elevate everyone. Come make some friends. There's a load of you that are going to pile into the voice chat once we've raided. So you know, go throw your cute little tush in there and introduce yourself. You know, new faces keeps the vibe up. You know what I'm saying? And if you want more Alice, go and check out the YouTube channel. There's lots of readings and things over there. I do readings for planets when they go into retrograde. So there's 5 planets in retrograde right now that we have readings for 4 of them. I still have 1 more to do. And we do readings for Twin Flame Tuesdays. We have Twin Flame, Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine energies that we dig into every Tuesday. And we do readings for every full moon and every new moon as well. Thank you, Oz. There you go. Links there in the chat. Do subscribe, bitch slap the bell right in the face, and all that good stuff. And let's raid without further ado. Get ready with your little cosmic teacups. Alpha. ASMR Alpha. Let's make sure I spell that right. I'm raiding totally the wrong person. Yes, get ready with your little cosmic teacups. Go wave them around in ASMR Alpha's chat. And woo woo, all aboard the raid train, everybody. Yes, all aboard. Get your little butts on that train. And I will see you over there. Thank you again, Granny, for the raid. Super appreciate it. I appreciate all of you. See you over there.